Oops. Take that off. Put the comments back up. Welcome.
Long time no see.
Yes. To our 233rd. Man, we just hit 200 like last week, and now it's just going off. Episode of Guerrilla Radio. We're here to talk state recap. We already talked about the first round, basically. So,
yeah. Live show was great. A lot of good people there. Thought it was a pretty good turnout.
Yeah, it was a real good turnout, and looked like a lot of people had some fun. They had some drinks. They had some good food. I definitely putting that on the docket for next year. Also, I think the place we were at enjoyed having us because they don't look like that. Everyone there was all wrestlers, pretty much, from what I could tell.
Yeah, it was a cool place, man. I thought it was really nice. Obviously, I thought the food was good for what I ate. I think I ordered some food and didn't really eat. I think I gave it to Dustin. You're on the mic, and we gave the mic to some parents. Not as many parents as we did last year. Yeah, but
I was gonna try to get some college coaches on there, but it looked like they left by the time we.
They got nervous. We were trying to strong arm into giving people deals.
Yeah, we were trying to work some college scholarships in and stuff. But yeah, we had quite a few views. It looked like a lot of people were online watching us and stuff, which was pretty good. And obviously, they either go out to eat or go back to their hotel room and listen to us blabble about wrestling. So
yeah, I thought it was like, we don't have to recap it. Obviously, we already recapped all the Friday stuff, so you can go back and watch it. But not like a lot of crazy stuff happened on Friday. I didn't feel like.
No, there were upsets, but nothing earth shattering. Like last year when you had upsets going down. Oh yes, and Rex.
Rex was on the hot mic with us.
Yes,
getting us set up.
Rex comes in clutch 2 years in a row with the setup and the speakers and all that stuff. We do it once a year, so I'm like, I don't know what to do. I just know I plug things in and it works. So thanks, Rex.
And he gave me my Haggard, Hershey, and Zell High School Wrestling Weekly T-shirt. Yes. So I was pretty excited for that.
Yes, he did.
I didn't get on with those guys this weekend. I was kind of disappointed, man, that I didn't go up there. It was on me. It's completely on me. I was invited, but I didn't go up. I was too engaged.
Yeah, too engaged in the harassment from the fans about your rankings.
Just two fans.
just two that's right behind you.
Yeah, two of these knuckleheads sitting behind me.
Yeah. They shut up a little bit more after the quarterfinals and stuff, didn't they?
Yeah, we locked it back in. It was good. I thought actually we were in a really good section. Someone asked me like if we just sat in the media section. I said no, like we sat with the people. Man, we were in a good area. We had New Powers over there. I got to talk to Vandy Griff. His knee was pretty stabilized. Talked about like his recovery and kind of where he was at and tough way to go out. He was really good. Rex met my brother.
I heard about that.
So my brother was there. We were doing the over under 6.5 times that he was mistaken for me. He hit the over. He went 7. Rex came up and elbowed him in his back real hard. He's a little bit bigger than me. I'm not a little taller, but a little less handsome. But Rex said it to me, and my brother's like, I think I just met someone you know.
That was a good one. Yes. Boy, Rex got some real region love.
Yeah.
Reminiscent of those the Hobart Maryville matches they used to ref.
Yeah. They man, if you had those Hobart Portage matches back in the day, that'd been tough. But the live show was great. Like I thought I really liked doing that. Thank you to the Hangar. I thought it was a cool venue. I wish it was a little warmer. Rex ain't wrong. I do wish it was a little bit warmer. But nothing in Indy's very far. It's it's kind of a cool city like that.
Yeah, being able to walk there was. It was a cold walk. Well, it was 2 blocks away. It looked like I was like, man, it might be a little bit further, but hopefully some more people come out next year. We had 60, 70 people there, I think, and throughout the night, and good. Obviously. We went and socialized and everything.
That's Tony's line. I think we got to get him an Indiana match shirt that says, nope, not that guy. He does say that a lot. The best is whenever he sees people that like I talk to all the time and they do it to him, like Mike Rex Brewer.
So you just use Tony as your like your stunt double, right? So he gets all the crap.
Yeah. He's a little bit. He can be a little rowdier than me, a little bit more opinionated. He can be a little bit louder, but it's always good to have him.
Just wait till he joins in here because I accidentally sent him the link one time.
We're gonna do the old like weird clown.
Yeah. It's like, why is there two mics?
Yeah, but like I said, like it was really cool. I thought I like having all those people there. I like having a lot, Eric was trying to, get us off our square, kind of getting real close. Rex had to tell him it was live. We're on live radio.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We don't get, I don't know, how much does Facebook yell at us if we cuss and stuff? I don't know.
Was there a lot of cussing? I mean,
no.
I think we've done a pretty good job, of not swearing.
Bill dropped a couple F-bombs.
Bill. Oh, yeah. When Bill was on, he was a wild card.
He was actually pretty tame for what he usually is. So, yeah, that was great. It was awesome. I think it's something we're going to continue to do for the foreseeable future. And, I mean, it was really cool just to get it off our chest, what we just saw. And I know there's a lot. Like I said, there are like at least 35,000 views, which is pretty darn good. And so means people kind of tuned in and say, hey, what was their breakdown? What do they see and stuff? So that was cool. Yeah, thanks to them. It was a good time, and thanks to Nate Sprangle for hooking us up with that. So
and he's a good dude, man. I really like Nate. I was happy those guys were there. Those are my boys. Yep. I didn't buy them around to shots this time. I knew they had to be there next morning, bright and early. They had a good Friday night, so I wanted them to, keep their eye on the prize.
Yeah. So, what other, I did see that someone lost left unattended and lost a Indiana Mat shirt.
Disappointed. I would say this. I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed.
Yes, especially after I found out who it was, and I know this person frequents this show, and just shaking my head at him. I mean, it wasn't the first time. There was someone else that I gave a shirt to one time in Texas. We may have just mentioned his name a couple minutes ago, but so not the first time. So I've been heartbroken before.
I've seen Eric was going to put that thing on eBay. So if anyone wants an Indiana Mat shirt, was it 3 X's on it? You got to go follow Eric and Eric Newell. Says he's going to make some money.
How was the eBay store?
It was Sarah Dickman's.
No, someone was mad that I already had a shirt for. I took one of his his one shirt because it was for someone else.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I had a couple drinks on Friday night. I forgot I was gonna give. Mike Morgan asked me for my number. I didn't get it for him, and so he's still holding on. I'm still holding out.
We'll get you one, Eric. I think I still owe you one from a couple years ago. Send me your address, and I'll get you a shirt. Yeah. So yeah, we had a good time. A lot of people got some new gear, so that's cool. So come out and you'll get gear. I didn't have that. My box was not very heavy on the way home. I can tell you that much.
I was definitely handing out gear. I don't know if I was supposed to. Just started handing out gear, all crazy all the time.
Yeah, we just didn't give away as many stickers as I wanted to because I forgot to put those out.
If you didn't give me those stickers, I'd have made sure the stickers got out. I forgot my Mike Riser face stickers, but I'm always nervous that people are going to put them on cop cars. but instead of it being like Hackaday's 3-time sticker where everyone thinks it's cool, I'm going to actually get arrested, or my brother will get arrested.
Yeah. So, what do we want to talk about?
I mean, I know we talked about obviously we could do like a pretty big. We could probably do a whole show on the dominance that we saw this weekend from the Brownsburg Bulldogs. I think we should probably just start there, right? Yeah. I mean, should we finish the show with that? Like, honestly, basically a state finals recap.
Yeah. So Brownsburg, they lost 4 matches all weekend. I've lost more than that on a Friday night.
As a coach, like you
As a
didn't
coach.
get to go wrestle back.
That's called the Bottomless Long Island's night.
That is what we call the Bottomless Long Island nights.
Yes. If you guys don't know, if you go 0-5 on a Friday night, Kilroy's gives you Bottomless Long Island iced teas.
Actually, I paid for those, but
oh,
if you go 0-5 on a Friday night, I'll pay for someone else's drinks too. I think like overall, like, man, that was a crazy run. 11-for-11 Friday night. We talked about that. And then 11-for-11 into the semis. We were trying to talk about like what's the longest consecutive wins for any team at the state finals?
It has to be them. I mean, there's
right?
I don't, unless it was, again, I would say modern era. Number one, once you go back to the mid 80s, they only qualified 8 they qualified 8 for state. So then, you mean, if you have to win 20, they won 29 matches in a row?
Yeah, they were on a run. Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah, they won 29 matches in a row, which is just ridiculous. I mean, and we were thinking, I was like, well, maybe like Griffith, because they had some hammers, but then they had their hammers, but then they had someone like, oh, geez, I just had the name on the top.
Dave Martin, but
Dave Martin. Yeah, he was 4th, but he ended up losing, but they didn't have 11 guys in the semis. So,
yeah, I think overall it was, man, dude, they do that. She's not lying.
Yes,
I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen to the most seasoned drinkers. Yeah, I thought. I mean, we knew they were really good, and I don't know, like, I didn't. At some point, I'm like, man, they might break 300. I think we were like trying to do the math. Obviously, they didn't, but like, they shattered the record. They do. They do have a tattoo. I think they have someone on staff that does tattoos over there for everyone. No, I don't know. But man, tattoos are expensive. Like those guys are definitely investing some money in some tattoos.
I'm at 7 for 7 on Friday night. That's
really good
pretty darn good.
That's pretty good too.
Yeah.
What was the top song in 1988 on Saturday? That Friday night. I
don't know. I know nothing.
Man, I hope it was "Welcome to the Jungle," February 1988. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, so they won.
Do my research.
They won 29 straight matches, and finally lost. It was like just as Caleb said, it was the reign of terror on Indiana wrestling that Brownsburg was doing, and ended up. So they end up like 30 and see they had 4 matches, 34 matches is 44, so they're 40-4 for the weekend. I can probably go through and find some Hall of Fame coaches that don't have 40 wins at the state finals. In their
I know there's a lot. I think there's a lot of them.
So they did really well. It was just like you knew they were going to break the record, but it was just they won by they beat the record of a pretty darn good team by about 70 points. And if you put that into perspective, that's 2 state champs and like a third more than that Crown Point team we just saw 3 years ago.
Yeah, man. I was a couple months early. "Sweet Child of Mine," Guns N' Roses, September. Dude, I don't even know what this is. 1988, weird year for music, guys. So if you guys are some circa 1988 music fans, I'm sorry. February 20th, Seasons Change, expose.
Welcome to the Jungle come out. 1987, it was a year ahead.
Dude, I was close, right? Dude, I'm pretty good at this, I think. Yeah, I think it's pretty phenomenal. I guess I'm gonna go there. Not a rant. We're not ranting on it. But we've had some people text, and I know I had a coach text me before we got on. Like, is Brownsburg so good that like you could probably Like they're so good that they start considering class wrestling. And I'm not saying like before everyone. I know we're in another group text, and that's a everyone wants a trophy idea, but like that's not what I'm saying. But basically, they just dueled the state and won.
Yeah. I got a text from someone's like, would they win in a duel versus the state? I said, well, we're gonna find out tonight.
Yeah, the entire state. Like sometimes, like, oh man, could they beat the semi-state? No, they'd smash the semi-state, and there's only a handful of wrestlers in the state that are better than their guys.
Yeah, they won 9 weight classes at the semi-state, so that tells you they beat the best, arguably the best semi-state.
They had the most medalists. I mean, it goes in waves. I don't think that's super controversial, but Evansville right now is where it's at. You know, they're doing so good. I don't think that's not like a hot take. I don't think.
No, not at all.
You know, Fort Wayne was it in like what, the 70s? No, the 80s. I'm joking. When 70s, Delta was 80s, running things. When Delta topped Mike Calumet Warriors for a state title, 1983. But I was just a little baby. But you know, the 90s, obviously, you know, Belmont, Mishawaka, Mater Dei, like you're looking semi-state wise, but I mean the region had a good run. Newcastle's had a really good run. Right now it's Evansville. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing about I think the sport is the adjustments, and now it's up to the other semi-states to raise their game.
Yes. You know? Yeah. And I think, I mean, there are some, I mean, and we see it with like the off-season clubs, the academies. They're kind of more, they've been based more out of, they're in the Indy, most of them are in the better, I mean, they're in the Indy area, but they were more Brownsburg, Avon area, a little bit south. Now they're starting to get back more north side, because like when Newcastle was better, they had like the CIA and a couple others up there that were doing pretty well, and now it's kind of shifted, and you know they're gonna, once the Contenders and some others are starting to pop up north, that's gonna make the Indy area better. So it's just gonna be, it's gonna kind of, it goes in waves, and they can't all go to the same semi-state. And who knows, maybe the IHSA realigns in some form or fashion. Who knows? I don't know how. I don't honestly. I have no. That realignment stuff that we talked about. It's such a. I can't even imagine what it takes to do that and try to. You don't want to be. You want to be fair, but you don't want to just say, well, they're doing real well, so we're going to send them to Fort Wayne to make that better. Jeez, if they went to Fort Wayne, that'd be not fun.
Yeah, I think, man, but I think there's a lot of like, not like to get super like Indiana, like demographically, and there's a lot of money in the outskirts of Indianapolis, right? I think there's a lot of money being made there, and you know, that means you have the means to like push your kids to be better. So like, why not? Like, I mean, we see it in softball, like we're, you know, hitting facilities are coming up and things like that, and people are doing instruction. I know, you know, like they said something, man, and I was like, man, that's crazy. I can't believe that. Like they were driving how long? And then Kim also like reminded me that I was driving, you know, at Joliet at night, like 10 o'clock at night, having OC do an hour-long pitching and half-hour hitting with this chick from Arizona, and then coming back at midnight during the school week. I think that if you have the money, you're going to do it. And not that that's like the end all be all, right? Like, I think that makes it tough because, I mean, you don't want it to make it like, can you pay for it and you can't pay for it. But there's a lot of money in that Indy area right now. And I think there's a lot of people, you know, getting their kids in there and getting them good. They have good coaches there.
Yeah. Yeah. They, the one ASU Devils, whatever, he posted a really good, really interesting topic or post about like the counties where a lot of those things are, and it's growing counties with higher income. It's not a secret. I mean, if they have disposable income.
What is a private cost in wrestling? I'll tell you what a private cost in softball for an hour, and you don't get to split it. It's not like we get to charge our catcher to go catch these lessons.
I know it's I know mine are about $65.
An hour?
Yeah,
I was
which
driving to Joliet and paying like 130.
I think that's what it is. I have to double check. We haven't been gone for a while.
Yeah, 120. There you go. My brother's got some inside. So a little north of 100. And I mean, if you could split it at 50-50, that's not bad. But that one-on-one time is huge. Um, and you have good coaches, and it's just going to take time. Those guys have put a lot. And this isn't. I like the Contenders guys. This isn't a commercial for Contenders. This isn't like, hey, I want to pound my chest for those guys. But those guys have put a lot of time in with this group and the groups that came before this, and like they're reaping the benefits of that. These are guys that have been with those guys for since they were like 4 years old.
Yeah.
I think we've seen that with we talked about the academies with Region. Like a lot of those the Region guys that are really good at that are in the college ranks were with those guys for a really long time. So we just need, every county to designate someone to teach kids from when they're 4 on and to keep them together and, make them really good.
Oh, sorry, it's 80 for the one we go to.
Yeah,
for an hour.
It's expensive, man. Like youth sports is where you can make some money.
Yeah.
It's the new frontier.
Yeah.
How many Brownsburg kids are homegrown? Define homegrown. Like it's the world we live in, right? Like they're not doing anything that no one else is doing. And you could say that about any team. And like someone would come on here and say, well, my team's all homegrown. And then you're like, okay, well, they'll define homegrown.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't like seeing that because anyone that says that tells me that they wouldn't, if their kid had an opportunity, if they felt that their kid, academics, band, show choir, wrestling, baseball, whatever it is, you're telling me if you have the means that a school 20 minutes away that you wouldn't send your kid there. I will call you out on saying no. If you have the means to send your kid to a different school and you believe that it is a better school academically, athletically, anywhere, any other kind of
100%. I don't see anyone ripping Culver Military.
Yeah.
Like how dare they give those kids academics? How dare they? Right?
Yeah. How dare they have a 99.999% college placement or even like modern day, and I was talking to Coach Gable. I was like, you guys are recruiting. You guys just build it so much that you don't have to. All you have to do. I mean, they have to. A private school like that has to recruit with great academics, obviously a faith-based education, which people want, and then a great athletics. If their football and wrestling teams aren't that good, they're losing a prong that's gonna drive people to come in there. So it's. I don't like to hear that, well, they're all recruiting and stuff or whatever. Those kids are going there because that's a very good program. They have a great schedule.
It's a good community. It's good academics. If that was Gary Roosevelt, which isn't a school anymore, or let's say Gary Wirt, because I know that absolutely is not. Roosevelt might still be like a charter school. If that was Gary Wirt, are you getting those kids to go to Gary Wirt? You taking those kids to 4th Ave? Doubtful.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You can put Cale Sanderson as the coach there. You're not, people are not going to send their kid there. Like it's overall, like you're talking about, like, we're only talking about it because obviously it's affecting what we saw this weekend. And that's what people want, right? I'm not going to trash West Side, bro. It's my boys, man. I ain't doing it. But I think you're right. Like, who's the best show choir team in the state? Are people like they pulled the best kid from Calumet? He's a songbird of our generation. I can't believe that. They only won because they recruited this kid from the hood. No, they don't do that. So why are we worried about it?
Yeah.
How about, like, instead of making the excuse that they're doing all this stuff, be better.
Yeah. Offer what they are offering. I mean, it's
not even offer what they're offering. Like, I thought we were competitors. Like, I thought that's the coolest thing about wrestling people is that we like to compete. Like, don't bow down and be scared. Go compete. Be better. Find a way to beat them.
Yeah.
Yes, if you need it, right. If you feel like you want to recruit, then recruit. But now it's legal as of Saturday.
Yeah, as of Saturday.
Did you push counties with 3 or 4 schools ago? I mean, if it's the right mix. Like, but like I don't know, some of those rivalries run deep.
Yeah, there's a lot of areas that would not. I guarantee Montgomery County, Northmont and Southmont, they would not combine.
They told me that it's not that. Someone told me one time they don't call it Northmont. It's only North Montgomery. Southmont's the only one that does that.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes. I don't want to get the North
Um,
Southmont and North Montgomery. Yes.
um,
Don't want Swain coming after me.
I would be interested to see like if I mean obviously they're making a lot of money, but if one of the like right now the guy for contenders, like would one of those guys ever take a program, much like Alex did with Mount Carmel,
Hmm.
you know? And someone posted that too, like all of our best guys went to Illinois. I was like, I don't know if they all went to Illinois. The 4 guys that I know that are Indiana guys, they're good, but they're not. I don't think they're state champs in Indiana.
Yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
give a breakdown, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
We didn't
Garcia,
have one come back.
yeah. Sebastian Garcia lost to Sam Westfall, so Basty's probably an 8th. Ryan Parasite can answer that. I think it's gonna be a no. There's 3 dots.
Answer it then.
Acuna, like congratulations to Acuna. He is a 4-time qualifier. Him and Newell was an overtime match. Like obviously, Tegan was a Friday night guy, tough draw. Williamson was a medalist. He split with Lewis last year, lost to Hawkins at IPO 1-0. So we kind of see where Landon, ended up this year. And who was the 4th one? William Gafton Hodges. Yeah, you don't want that headache, bro. So I don't know. We're getting sidetracked. I don't think we should take away from how good that was, right?
Yeah.
Like I think we saw something that was really great, and maybe it didn't make. I'm sure for the Brownsburg crew and all those guys, it made it really cool, right? Like I'm sure that was like an exciting thing for everyone else in the gym. It might not have been as fun, right?
Yeah. It was pretty crazy to watch and just see how it unfolded, and they had a monstrous day. And I don't think I can't see, even though we probably 3 years ago we were sitting here saying the same thing. I don't know if anyone can duplicate it. Our state tournament is tough. You have to have the right guys in the right places, and they have to get the right draws and do what they need to do.
Yeah, have to have a good week. You can't it's a war of attrition sometimes, man. We've seen it this state tournament with weight and sickness, injuries, any of that stuff. I think is really, really tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the other big storyline we kind of agreed on were the freshmen.
Yeah. What we have 4 freshman state champs.
Yeah, 6, 13, which those are genuinely a freshman lane weight class.
Man, congratulations to Trayvon Ducky, man. I feel like I kept putting him low on the rankings, and man, congratulations to him. Even like I look back at the preseason stuff, which is eerily more accurate than the final ones. Not more accurate than some people's rankings, I guess. Everyone that doesn't post always has all the rankings right. It's weird. But no one that puts their name on it. I've been told several times that they picked every weight class correctly by several different people. And I was like, man, where'd you put it down as? Well, I knew it right here. Like, oh, okay. Like, same, bro. But Trayvon was 6th in the preseason mag. And I thought those results were pretty clear cut from IHPO. Had a really good Ironman, was going to move him into like the 1 spot. He ends up losing to Case Bridge that week, beats Bridge. I kind of go back and forth. Then I'm like, okay, cool. He beats Bridge. Now we're going to put him back. He's going to go back up to 1 or 2. And then loses to Brown by fall. And it's like, okay, well, now Brown's go back to 2. And he lost to Bridge. And it was a weird mix, but I believe he was the lowest ranked state champ this year, right?
Yes, I believe so. You're correct there.
Congratulations to him, man. I admit when I'm wrong. Wrestled lights out.
Yeah, and that's the thing we were talking about a lot of like, where would you put these guys if you re-ranked them after sectional, regional?
I think
not even looking at the brackets or anything. And he probably would have, especially after regional, after placing higher than Brown and them, he probably would have gone up. Obviously, after semi-state, Ocampo lost, so she would have dropped.
He'd have been 1 after semi-state for sure. He'd have been number 1.
Yeah. Yeah, so it
He
wasn't.
ended up being one.
Yeah, and those are the most important rankings. And I think it's lost on people that we lock our rankings. We have no clue how the brackets are gonna uh, fall, and we also don't know who's gonna figure things out on. I mean, and someone like Ducking, he had to beat those guys week after week after week, and that's not an easy thing to do. That's almost, I'd almost say that's more impressive than winning the title itself, is because he had to beat Bridge at regional or sectional. He had to beat Brown, Ash, Bridge at
Yeah.
regional, semi-state, same thing.
Killed
So
it, man. And I mean, we have to go by. It can't just be Mike's favorite person here. And I know that people like to say that, like, oh, like you like this guy better than like that. I don't like any of them. I like all of them. On the other side of that. But yeah, no, shout out to him, man. When I'm wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong. And when I'm right, I'll definitely tell you I'm right too. So, but
yeah,
congratulations. That was really cool.
and a lot of those guys right there, they're going to probably be battling out at 13 and 20, 26 over the next few years. So that's going to be I guarantee that Bridge and Brown and Maddox are all going to be their goals now to make sure he's not a four-timer.
Dude, I was disappointed. Maddox cut the hair, man.
Yeah.
When I seen him with the shaved head, I was like, man, the hair was rocking at Al Smith, and then he had to go to Gunner Butt. Gunner Butt #1 hair now.
Yeah, Gunner Butt taking over #1 spot. So
I don't know. Rev had the cornrows were working. I asked his mom if she braided them up. She said absolutely not. Time consuming.
Yes. So then the next freshman, Case Bell, that one was early in the season we kind of went back and forth of where to put. Do we put him #1? Do we kind of shake some things up, and rode that one out #1, and good match in the finals.
It was. The top three there were really good.
Man. Someone's coming for your job.
I think I'm just gonna let everyone. I'm gonna let everyone pick one weight that they want to rank, and then I'm just gonna let them be my liaison. I'm gonna make it easier.
At the end of the year, you're gonna tell everyone who ranked what weight class.
Yeah, the big reveal. I think. Yeah, you ain't wrong, Cody. But I think that. Yeah, we got a lot of I mean, you have to hear it too, because by default, you also do the rankings, I guess. Just like I also code the site. When the site's down, everyone wants to tell me. I was like, oh yeah, no, let me get on that, right? Yeah. But putting Case 1 was kind of controversial. I mean, we had the top 3 the whole year, and it ended up being 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So from preseason mag on, 1, 2, 3, that's how it went.
Yep. Just how you predicted, man. Why can't you do that for all the weights?
Eerily, if you bought the preseason magazine, congratulations. I appreciate it. That's always a really cool thing to have. A lot of the guys that were in those weights were ranked preseason. I think a lot of them were like 11 out of 16 before they even stepped on the mat. Yeah. Without injuries, without ineligible, IHSA rules that got changed this weekend, which kind of sucks for that kid, right? Sucks for my kid. My kid was also declared ineligible partial halfway through for half a season as a junior. Well, I guess, we can't just post-date that. It's like the guy that goes to prison for selling weed, then your state like legalizes weed. Yeah. Oh man, I just gave up, 10 years of my life. Yeah. So 10 years in like the worst situation possible.
Yes. So yeah, they Bell looked good, and we talked about him a lot this year, especially after the Ironman finished 3rd there, and it's like, how good is he? And then we said it a couple weeks later after he won Carnahan's, like, this kid's pretty good, and he had a great season, and definitely, I mean, he's going to be pushed the next couple of years. Depends on where he's going to end up, but Shutley's not too far behind, and again, that's a kid with a title. He's going to be.
Shutley was good in the semis.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was one of the best matches. Those two got after it, and I love Verduzco's fun to watch. More than anything, we have a lot of these guys that are real fun to watch. And then MJ Staples, is a man. He looked real good.
Yeah. What'd you say? The first state champ over 130 pounds since what,
That's
1940?
Estel Ritter.
Estel Ritter, man. Four-timer Estel Ritter, right?
I think so. I have to double check. The one I did originally think was I have to do some research because they're I'll have to pull it up here. I don't know where it would be. He had 4 years listed as a placer, but there was like a gap year in between one of the years. So it was very interesting. So I don't know what
that was a good interview. Gunner did have a good interview. Why pick Wyoming? Offers wrestling, rodeo, and hunting.
Yeah, Gunner's a good guy. I like Gunner. Other than when he pins stuff onto my computer. He claims he didn't do it, but until I see evidence, he did it. So.
And then we closed it out with Cam Hazlett. I feel like there's a lot of people still there. Like, it didn't get as empty as it normally does. And Cam and Szymborski was a good match. And Cam, the first freshman state champ ever.
Yes.
At heavyweight. Freshman state champ at heavyweight ever. It'll be interesting to see where those guys, how that all plays out for all of those guys. We're talking about Case, but I mean, there's a lot of returning state champs in the middle there also, on top of some of the guys up top that are going to be returning medalists. Staples was at 57. If he goes, 65, I mean, maybe Tommy Gibb goes 65, Tommy Gibb Staples match. Maybe, if he goes 90, you could have Kressel. I think Kressel will be at 90 next year. I'm sure Michael White is still be in that mix somewhere in there. Cesar Salas. So it'll be interesting to see, especially when you're a freshman, like how the growth you're going to go. It's not like he's a short kid. Where those guys end up falling at. I mean, Cam said he's going to cut down to 190 and add up, what do you say, 40 pounds of muscle, 35 pounds of muscle. I don't think he's a big heavyweight, but I mean, obviously he's max. That's the max weight. You can't go higher than that. Yeah, Harder Road and Hazlett for ISWA. It'll be interesting. I mean, Harder Road will be back.
Well, I assume they're not the same age group, but you never know if they'll I mean, they could easily wrestle. So Hazlett weighed 230.5 at Al Smith.
So I mean, not like little, and again, like he's a younger guy. I don't think that the max 285, heavyweights are, you don't see as many anyone. Joe Stanley said Cam's at cadet.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's afraid to wrestle anybody. I honestly don't. I think if the match is there, if Weaver's at heavyweight, I think he'd go test himself with Weaver too. If it's a junior, and if he does that, I don't know what his plans are or what he's going to do. But really, I think that was like the second storyline. Brownsburg dominating again was very impressive. The most impressive thing of the weekend. The second most impressive thing I think was that you had these freshmen that went out and won, and the fashion that they won.
Yes, yeah, and they were dominant. And if you add it up, there are that Brownsburg team. If you want to mix both storylines on there, could have a potential of having four-timers on their team.
Yeah, and that's pretty amazing. I think Kevin texted me and said Cam didn't give up an offensive point all weekend. That's pretty impressive. I mean, I don't know if he gave up any points. I don't remember him giving up many escapes. He rode Szymborski. He didn't give up an escape to Szymborski, right?
I think he did at the end. I think he might have at the end. I mean, I do have the brackets somewhere.
I'd assume Revan Dickman didn't give up any offensive points either, or Jake Hockaday, or Waylon Kressel.
Didn't Jake get taken down or reversed?
Did he?
I thought he got reversed by
Thrine.
Heavyweight
backflip in the man. And I'm not here to criticize officials. I get it, man. That's what they're doing. Are they hitting those guys for team points or just the warnings?
They're giving team points.
Man,
for
let these
the
guys
backflips.
for the backflips only. It's like if
Back,
you
well, and Parker Reynolds run into the stands and stuff.
man, I feel like I think that's one of those things, man. Come on now. Why are we doing that? Like, you know, unless they have something, if they pull out a sign or they pull out like a cell phone from under a goalpost, then you know, hit them for a team. If they had something hidden under the mat, a chair, like they hit them for a team point. Man, let them celebrate, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I never won a state title, but I had several celebrations set up that I'm holding on to.
Yeah. So you want to go over the brackets a little bit?
You can't even throw your coaches anymore. They tell them that in the finals, please don't throw any coaches.
Well, definitely don't want to throw Snyder.
Yeah, Brownsburg got to be careful. You can't be throwing those guys anymore. They're fragile now.
Yes.
Oh, I can see these good. I don't have to pull it up on my phone.
Yeah. So yeah, I copied these from the Tracker Wrestling. So I guess we'll kind of just give a little bit of an overview. I honestly did not get to see very many of the consolation matches because I got there on time. I was like, I'm gonna get there, go start watching these matches, and then people just talk to me because they want to talk to me for a great deal of time. And then Mike sends me a text, "Did you make it back yet?"
I had to make sure my guy didn't go back and Elvis it.
Yeah.
We went back to the hotel. I had to go make sure he wasn't pulling the Elvis Presley.
Yeah. So I had to go get a couple, an NCAA champ, a sweatshirt. So
how many NCAA champs you think were there? Me and my brother were talking about this. You think Howe was the only one? Was Angel there?
I saw CJ. I did not see.
Yeah, I saw CJ was there. I saw Stefan. We had a world champ in the house. Stefan was there.
Yeah, I saw. Well, I didn't see. I saw some videos of him. I didn't see him personally, but any other NCAA champs? What would be?
That's what I was saying.
Because
the Rutgers assistant was there, right? But
yeah, Rutgers assistant. I don't know if there are any Nebraska coaches there. I do not know.
Well, Snyder was an NCAA champ there. Yeah. Was Mark Manning back in the day?
He was a D2 guy.
Okay, then he wasn't.
So I don't know. Maybe just one.
Jason was there. So, I thought Jason would have been in Illinois. I didn't know Jason was there either.
He must have been hiding. So 106.
Tom Ryan was there.
We obviously talked about. Oh, nice. Who's he recruiting? Who's he going after? Because they don't have anyone. I know there's some college coaches there. I just didn't see very many of them. But I know Marcus Freeman was there.
Marcus Freeman in the house. He was not an NCAA champion.
No, he was not. They were runner-ups.
So they said Jason was there. So Jason and Howe.
Okay, so
pretty good.
Yeah. So 106. We'll start with the quarterfinals because we already talked about the first round. Tune in. I'll put it on the podcast part later. Ducking over Cruzaretta. Connor Maddox over Joey Warner. Case Bridge over Sam Westfall. And Daniel Brown over Reed Wicker. Brown had the toughest route to the finals because he had St. Laurent, Wicker, and then Bridge.
He did have a tough go there. Man, they said Scott Maddox is Connor Maddox's dad. I did not know that. Maddox isn't like an uncommon last name, but Bobby Joe told me that. Scott Maddox, we were watching the 1999 state finals, him and Adam Doherty. Pretty intense match. Headlock to win it for Doherty.
Yeah, I actually wrestled him at the Arsenal Tech freestyle tournament one time. No, it was close though. I'd have to go. I think I saw the bracket somewhere. I have to go find it.
So semifinals, Ducky.
Maybe I can get a rematch.
The Ducky Maddox match was close. Closer than the score. I felt like 11-4. I thought that was a really good match.
Yeah, that was a good one. Man, a lot of good matches there. Obviously, those four guys are pretty good. Bridge lost 2 sudden victory
I think
matches.
that might have been Brown's first win over Bridge this year. Bridge just kind of had his number.
Yeah, he finished 4th at a regional and then 3rd at semi-state. So yeah.
Then we talked about the final, ducking 8-1 over Brown. And I wasn't necessarily a fan of the first stall call. The second stall call I thought was stalling, but after you give the first warning, you have to give that second one. It's a point. It kind of changes the direction of the match, right? Like,
yeah,
I would be willing to bet if we go back, other than one of Joe's favorite champs of all time, Chad Regari, there's probably not a lot of times that the heavyweight final is probably more high paced than the 106 final.
Yeah. And even the heavyweight final wasn't a lot of scoring, but there was a lot of action. And even with Brown and Duckings, they've wrestled each other a gazillion and 4 times, not only this year, but also during the off seasons, and they have trained together. I'm pretty positive. And it just, when you wrestle someone that many times, you're not going to be as offensive.
Yeah. And I mean, I think Brown's hard to score on. He's long. He uses his length really well. Ducking used that overhook as good as anybody. I mean, I know we were clowning a couple of weeks ago about chin whips, but man, I don't know how many times you want to get to that, like overhook hip toss. I don't know if that's the defense that, is just as good as the same as a chin whip.
Yeah. So the other one's Case Bridge over Connor Maddox in overtime in tiebreakers for 3rd, Reed Wicker over Cruzaretta for 5th, and then Sam Westfall over Joey Warner for 8th. So real good class there. And I will say this again, in case you missed it from the first one. Number 1, shout out to Juliana Ocampo and Heather Crawl. They could have easily won state titles this year against the girls. They decided to wrestle the boys. Both had fantastic careers. And I said this the other night. I said Heather Crawl had one of the more underrated careers. And I'd take one time qualifying for state. She qualified for state 3 times. That's not an easy thing to do. I mean, not everyone has. Look at how many people have qualified for state multiple times. It's not a lot. And doing that multiple times, obviously Ocampo with the placement last year, she qualified 4 times, which is pretty darn impressive, no matter who you are. So shout out to them for great careers. So just don't want that to be what they did is pretty impressive, and they had fantastic careers there.
Yeah. Really good weight class, though. I think there's a lot of talent in there that's going to be spread out over the weights in the future here.
Yeah. 113, Bell over Dressler in the quarters. That's a real good match. As I believe that the professor who got on the mic was like, Dressler's a big kid. We wrestled him at 126. I'm like, Bell's a good size 13 too, and I think that was a real good match. Bell pulled away late and won 11-3. Colin Strayer over Eli Ogle 14-5. Thought that one would be a little bit closer. Strayer kind of pulled away with that. Peyton Shutley, Tex K. Jackson, Noel Verduzco, Tex.
The lies keep
coming. Rex Moore.
For what?
So
the truth is out there.
The truth will set you free. I don't know what lies we're telling, but okay. I mean, we're just going over brackets. You can see them right there. So Case Bell, Tex, Colin Strayer in the semis. Shutley 12-8 over Verduzco in the semis. Great match, a lot of action. Shutley got a late takedown and got some near fall. Yeah, the takedown would have tied it up, and then the near fall made it so that wasn't tight. I guess that's not a lot.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good match, back and forth, a lot of action. I thought it would be a good match all year. I mean, it's kind of toss up. Really exciting. It looked like those guys were, I don't want to say head and shoulders above everybody, but a couple tech falls and a major in there is pretty impressive. 2 majors.
Yep. Verduzco 1-0 or Verduzco 1-0 over Strayer. Kate Jackson over Keegan Dressler for 5th, and then Eli Ogle over Rex Moore.
That's an asterisk there, my friend Josh Berg. Go back to Brownsburg. Go back.
Yeah. I'm guessing he's staying at Tri-West. That's especially with the new. I mean, yeah. Anyway, Bell over Shutley in the final. Real good finals match. Shutley's really good also. Bell is just on a pretty good level, and he's going to be fun to watch. Obviously, you placed 3rd at the Ironman as a freshman in a deep weight class. You're going to make some. It's going to be interesting hearing or seeing where he lands in the rankings coming up, and seeing how those things go.
Verduzco over Strayer 1-0. That's been a major the last major in a tech, I believe. So Strayer, I was saying this maybe that match, but I think a lot of those matches, that's an incredibly hard match to wrestle. Like you're going out, you're so close to your goal, and now you have to go back out there and wrestle. And you know, it's tough. I mean, especially if you're not in the team race, to like mentally get prepared for that. Like, hey, like we go back out there and get a win, you know? And
yeah,
I mean, especially a freshman, you're dealing with, you know, 16-year-old kids, 15, 16-year-old kids. You're a takedown away from being in the finals. And now an hour or 2 hours later, whatever, we went to the district and got lunch with, you get to go back out there and compete.
Yeah. And try to find that fire.
Yeah.
120, Revan Dickman, Aiden Bollinger, the bat. They're not no strangers at the state finals. Usually it's in the semis. 1-0 match. I think we've said this before. Dickman's not afraid to win a 1-0 match. If he wants, if there's he's so hard to score on, he'll ride you out if you choose bottom. It was a good match. Just he's so hard to score on. I don't know how many offensive points someone might might tell us how many offensive points he's given up to Indiana wrestlers the past 3 years, but
yeah,
I can say I've probably given up more in one match in one of my matches in my high school career.
I definitely have. Unless it's 30. I never go up 30 in a match. But I think I mean, Bollinger went out with the right strategy. I think that's what you have to do. I mean, at the end, I think I wish he would have fired off a couple more shots. Like you're right there. You know, it's 1-0. It's tough. He's tough to score on, but I think that's the right strategy if you're Bollinger in that match. And I bet a lot of guys try to do that. And he's really good on top, man. We see it in the finals. We're going to talk about it in a second, but Bollinger put himself in a position to win. He just, 1-0, and Dickman win him 1-0. They win him by tech fall.
Yep. And as we were saying,
more honestly.
Yeah.
Like the way he turns people, I mean, I understand he gets away from people, but with the 4-point near fall, I'm surprised he's not more of a, hey, I'm taking top.
Yeah. That's a good one. And as we were talking about Daniel Brown had not an easy road, then Dickman has to go through Gavin Lewis, who's pretty darn good himself. 1-7-0 there. Lewis is real good.
It was 2-0 last time. This time it was takedown in the first. He got, took him down, it was clean, and then turned him.
Yep. And that's he might as well be up by about 25 at that point. So hard to score.
Never allow him to just take top. I think now with the 3-point takedown, I actually think going back down isn't useful. And when it used to be a 2-for-1, I think it was better. Now it's a 3-for-1. I mean, I think if we were betting, I like those odds. I like the payout on that a lot better.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of times it is a waste of going bottom because you're going to get tired. If the guy if he figures out a way to hang on your ankle, do something that can stymie you a little bit, you're going to spend 30, 40, maybe a minute trying to get out, and you're going to be tired. You're going to be frustrated mentally. So just go neutral and get after, just get your movement going on your feet. So
I think a pretty good college coach told me one time, try to get in the position that you're the best at more. If you're the best on top, then choose top. if that's your spot, like if you could turn anybody, like take as many opportunities to get that as you can, right? I mean, I understand in 1999 when we were out there, hitting the mats, it was an automatic down, and it was just a matter of will to get away. Um, I don't know if that's true. Like I had pretty decent willpower to get away from everybody. I mean, I seen them going to Drew Hughes a couple times. I mean, that was pretty tough.
I've seen some coaches choose down thinking, yeah, we'll get out.
A pretty good coach that won a pretty good title this weekend.
Yeah. We still give a hard time about that.
I think when with the 4-point near fall, like go to a position of power like more often, right? Mm-hmm. Especially if you're if you're not like a rider, like if you're not like someone that just hangs on, but someone that can actually turn people, I think there's a good chance they're going to choose down because that's a lot of older coaches' mentality. And then also choose top. Then you can probably take down and then attack fall, like turn and turn and turn in the final.
Yeah. We said this earlier this year. I was like, I'm curious of some of the situations we're going to be armchair quarterbacks from the stands when you see maybe you shouldn't have gone down here. There's no reason to. You're down by 4. You're going to need 2 takedowns anyway.
Yeah.
Even if you get an escape in a takedown, you're not going to write them out. So you're going to need 2 takedowns. Why waste 30 seconds on bottom, getting tired and frustrated?
I really think that the point change, like kind of changed. I mean, I wasn't always an automatic down person anyways. Like I was when I was younger, but now with the point totals, I think it's, I don't know, not that it's useless, but I mean, you're gonna have to score takedowns. Would you rather take 2 minutes or get rode for 40 seconds and use a minute 20 to try to get 2 takedowns?
Yeah. So
Jason Leach gets it.
Yeah. Yeah. Why take? You got to get going. You got to get on your horse and get 2 takedowns. I'd rather have 2 minutes than a minute 30 or a minute or a minute to get 2 takedowns. So, I mean, the only, and even if you do say it takes a minute for you to get out, you get the takedown, then you write them out for the 30 seconds, you still got to get another one in the overtime. So you got to get 2 takedowns.
I'm betting, I mean, anyways, I'm betting Iowa wished Ferrari didn't go underneath yesterday, right?
Yeah.
He got rode for 2 minutes, tied it up with a riding time. I mean, he was all over those legs. He probably would have won neutral. He probably would have got another takedown like he did in overtime.
Yep. So going on to this bracket after a little rant, Levi Johns over Royce Malone, the Bluffton Tiger, had a good season. Got back on the podium his senior year.
Yeah, he had a good run too, though. I mean, tough Friday night match. Got a major.
Yep, majored Phi after in the rubber match, and then Mason Gels over Blake Getz 3-1. Gels, he just keeps getting better each week, and he's going to be one that, I mean, obviously he finished with 9 losses. I don't know what it's
at least 4 to Dickman, right? Like you got your conference, you have sectional, regional, semi-state. There's 4. Probably the duel, or he lost to Case Bell in 2 of those, not to Dickman.
Yeah,
Bell wrestled conference in the duel.
Yeah.
So that's 3 of 5.
Yeah, so he lost
to Brownsburg.
Bell, Lewis, Getz, Malone, Bell, Dickman.
Pretty good.
So he doesn't like nothing. Man.
You might want to hit the weights and kind of get away from Dickman, right? And
and he might just want to get away from Dickman, period, and just go to another like state.
I'm not suggesting that. Avon's already lost so much.
Yeah, no, he's one that's he's improved tremendously over his career, and so it'll be interesting to see. He's one that I would, even with the losses that he has, I'm not going to be. Oh, he'll be back on the lights. I'm pretty positive, and he had some good wins this year, and had another, ran it to under the lights after finishing 5th last year. So,
yeah.
So, and then Gels beat Johns, and then obviously Dickman Tech fall in the finals. Gavin Lewis over Levi Johns 8-0 for 3rd. Getz over Bollinger by fall. And
that was a pretty impressive win for Getz.
Yeah, good win for Getz. Coming back next year, he'll be in the mix. Royce Malone over Caden Underwood. Unranked Caden Underwood. Yes.
Looked really good. I can put it in. I'll put it on the docket right now. Caden Underwood will be ranked next year.
Yep. And we blame Jacob Avon for not telling us about him. We're telling us any of his losses or wins. So, right? So we'll throw Avon under the bus.
Truly under the radar.
Yes. Yeah. No, he had a great season. I talked to him a little bit after in the tunnel. He seems like a real nice kid, and obviously, shout out to Avon doing a great job there, getting kids like that out for the sport. They're having success. They're having fun, and they're going to be better people after they're done. So shout out to him for doing the work there and continuing to have success. 1, 2, 6. Rio over Chase Yan. I don't think he let him get on top. Smart move by him.
Yeah, Rio was on fire all weekend.
Yes. Eli Brody over Isaac Ash. I prevented Ash from making the semifinals on the 4 spot again. Brody had, obviously beaten Maldonado and then beaten Ash, 2 guys with some state medals just to get to the semifinals. Not an easy task there. Ty Henderson, Tech Fall, Braden Volts. And then Gendris over Dominic Brown 4-1. Just real good quarterfinals there. Nate Rio over Eli Brody by Tech Fall. Gendris 6-3 over Ty Henderson. And then the final, Nate Rio 4-1. Avenges an early season or mid-season loss. And Gendris, great kid, just fantastic career. And we don't like to cheer for guys. I don't like to cheer for guys unless
they're from Fort Wayne and they're beating these Chicago guys. Don't
lie. Yeah. I know. Yeah. If they're beating these Chicago guys, yes. If they're or Evansville, no. But it's it's like you watch that, you get to that match, and you have 2 guys that have been under the lights, 2 guys that have impressive careers, national credentials, and it's like, oh man, someone's going to come away very elated, and one's not going to be very happy. Unfortunately, Gendris is going to go down as one of those guys that's one of the best without a title. But that's nothing to hang your head in, because he had a fantastic career, won a couple state titles with his team, and just fantastic career. So
yeah, the last 3 years, he lost to Jake as a freshman, but the last 3 years, he beat the state champ during the season. Mm-hmm. He beat LaRocca the last 2 that won those, and then he beat Nate this year. Nate wrestled out of his mind, made the adjustments from I thought that he didn't wrestle. He kind of said his hand fighting, but I didn't think that he wrestled his pace at Carnahan, and let kind of Gavin dictate the pace a little bit better, and definitely made that adjustment. And still a really good match, and Gavin couldn't get to his offense, and Nate took advantage of that. So,
yep.
Congratulations to the Rio family, and both really good families too. So that's tough. That's a sport.
Yep. Someone has to win. Someone has to lose, unfortunately. So yeah, Ty Henderson over Eli Brody. Brody will be back for another year. Henderson is graduating.
Heading to Purdue.
Yep. Dominic Brown over Isaac Ash. They've met a few times for 5th. And then Chase Yan over Braden Volts. I did not see the match. I'm assuming he got on top 16-0.
Yeah, he's pretty good on the top position.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, the scouting report on him, don't go bottom.
He's senior, right? He's not good.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to recruit. You're gonna have to do a scouting report on him in college.
Yep. Yeah. Hopefully, if I'm a college coach, I'm gonna be kind of looking, hey, that dude can turn people. He likes that 4-point near fall. I'll take that. So 132. Starting off, Eddie Goss 1-0 over Elaine Horn. Sounds like Horn had a little injury during that match. Obviously, no excuse, but it's one of those things that happens when you're wrestling.
Yep.
Sam Mosier 6-4 over Donald Bowie. Another crazy match. Bowie wrestles some tight matches.
Yeah, I missed that one. I was up top, and I think they said just like a weird sequence at the end, and where Mosier came out on top.
Yeah, some near fall in a funky position, kind of caused him to, I think he gave up 5 total, if I'm not mistaken. So it was 4-1, gave up the takedown and near fall. Got just a crazy position, and I don't I don't envy the refs in those situations. Um, I wouldn't want to make a call there that is keeping a kid from the semifinals or state finals. So Hockaday text Drew Walden, Thrine 17-5 over Hunter Douglas. And then semifinals, Goss, hey, he's not afraid to win a 1-0 match either. 1-0 over Sam Mosier. Hockaday majored Silent Thrine. That was a real good match, real early. They were getting after it. Thrine he's not afraid to get after it. And when he turns it on, I mean, he's fun to watch. And I wish him and Hockaday would have been under the lights for the last 2 years. That did not happen. Hockaday will graduate per my sources. And so Thrine won't have to worry about him next year.
Yeah.
Might have to worry about a different Hockaday, but not Jake Hockaday.
Man, this is something crazy that Eddie Goss, I know, and maybe they could have been wrong. I thought there was some missteps on the announcements. But Eddie Goss is the only 4-time medalist from Center Grove. Or he's the first 4-time medalist from Center Grove. That's what they said. I don't know how true it was. Like I said, there were some missteps in there. I think they said Adrian Palat had majored or attacked everyone in the 2025 season when I for sure saw an overtime match. I was trying to think, did he end up pinning Rowdy Bush at Al Smith? But I don't think he did.
They're probably, unless it was just recently, I'm pretty positive that he would be their first 4-time medalist.
That's a pretty prestigious wrestling school that I was pretty shocked when I heard that.
Yeah. I mean, per what I have, and
there is a website for that. I can tell you.
If you go to homepage and history, there are some little things, and I do not see them on my list. I don't see any.
So congratulations to Eddie Goss. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Center Grove's had a lot of really good wrestlers come through there.
1, 2, 3.
Ryan Parrish said it's true. I believe him. We said that Noah Verduzco, Peyton Shutley was a really good match. Kevin should have took it to the table. No, we didn't say that. He missed 13.
There are, let's see, probably about 70 some 4-time medalists overall. I have to double. Some of them are girls in here, so so there's about 70 4-time medalists.
Great run, great career for Eddie Goss. Yeah. Amazing. I mean, obviously, we talked about Jake being a 4-timer, and really beat a really crazy way to go there, right? Beat Tylen Thrine, who was a champ as a freshman, beat Thrine last year, who was a champ as a freshman, and then beat Ashton Jackson, who was a 2-timer at that point, beat Gavin Gendris under the lights. Really impressive career for Jake Hockaday.
Yeah.
I think when we look back, obviously right now, everyone's going to say, well, it was really good. But I think as you get further away from it, it's going to be wow, he had a really amazing career.
Yeah. And he did not take the easy paths to a state title.
No.
He did not try to, I mean, and I'm not saying any of those guys that got 4 titles were obviously taking any easy paths. Jesse Mendez went after it in a weight with 2 guys with state championships. So it's one of those things that he had. I mean, he chose
and beat Blake Borman 1 year after he won a title.
Yeah. Blake Borman's having a pretty good college season this year. So it's one of those things that I've seen where he went after a 2-timer and said, no, you're not gonna be a 3-timer. Those types of things. And obviously, I'm sure going after Jackson was a little bit of a, hey, I want to take this guy out type thing. I want to go that weight class. He probably could have gone 13, probably could have gone 26 and some pads without a 2-timer in there going for his 3rd, but he chose to go after that. Just real great career. Obviously had some national success. Won this year on one leg.
Yep.
And I mean, we're the worst kept secret in Indiana wrestling.
I mean, we knew about it pretty early, and it's not like our spot to break news, but we heard it was more significant than a sprained knee. What one of their coaches was trying to tell me.
Yeah, I just kind of giggle when there's a lot of stuff that we know, and obviously, like you said, we're not here to spread rumors and say,
Unless you catch me at Kilroy's now.
yes, yeah. So that's one of those things that we're not here. We're not the TMZ. I don't care if I'm the first to break some news like that. I'd rather be right and be last and keep that stuff private everyone saw there was something wrong. Everyone could, and then if you talk to the right people, you could probably figure it out. But it's one of those things that he wasn't the same. I heard he did tweak it early in the day on Saturday. He didn't look like he was moving as good as he had been. He actually looked pretty solid. I mean, all year, the first match against Avon, he didn't look that good. I was like, this might be kind of, especially with the rumors of Thrine maybe going down. I'm like, this might not be as easy as he thinks it's going to be. And then I think got just more comfortable using it and, wrestling with it, and then maybe tweak it a little bit. But yeah.
And I think we'll talk about it a little bit like coming up too, where I think it changed some of his game, where his snaps and his go behinds were a lot better. He was really good in that position. And I think, maybe he's still pretty explosive, but he wasn't as explosive as he had been, right? Like, so you have to like kind of change the way you compete and go that route.
Yes.
We already talked about semis, medal matches. Thrine over Mosier 4-1. Douglas Donald Bowie 4-1 over Horn. Douglas 6-1 over Walden, and then Horn pin over Drew Walden. Drew Walden also coming back from a pretty significant injury. And Hunter Douglas 4-1 for the Homestead Spartans. They had a pretty good cheering section there for those guys.
Yeah, they had a real good cheering section there. Good to see them with 2 state placers. Douglas had a good tournament. Obviously, his only loss was to Thrine. Obviously, like you said, Drew Walden come back. He literally had surgery that, we've talked about it before, but he didn't. He came back. We didn't expect him to really come back. I talked to his coaches, like, we were hoping he would, but we weren't going to put, too much stock in it. Not getting your hopes up. You don't want to get your hopes up as a coach. Like, you're going to come back. You're going to come back. And so he came back. Comes back and ends up with a state medal with what he has. I don't know how his fastball is doing now, but maybe he needs to wait a little bit longer to throw that.
Maybe he wasn't much of a baseball player before. I don't know.
It could affect his dodgeball though.
Yeah.
So 138, Peyton Richards, Jack Davis. That was a great match.
It was.
First semifinalist for the Switzerland County Pacers. Ran that from a 4 to a top 4. That's how you do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Braylon Reynolds fall over Terry Easley. Evan Stanley 5-1 over a tough Justice Thornton. Then Isaiah Schaefer 12-3 over another really tough Gunner Butt. Not only did he have to beat it, but he had to beat that hair, which is
you ain't tough. Lying, boy. Gunner Butt will be back.
Yeah, he's going to be in the mix next year. Obviously, Richards is going to be back. So it'll be Braylon Reynolds, Stanley. So that's not much shit changing over here.
No. Yeah, that was a pretty good semifinal also.
Yeah. Stanley and Schaefer, another great match there. Obviously, that was one a lot of us were looking forward to seeing, and got our money worth there.
I caught a stray on that on the board. Like, upset to some, but not to us. Like, bro, like, it was a 2-1. Like how, like, I think I've always said, if you're in the top 5, I think you have a shot to win. And I don't think it was an upset. I thought it was gonna be a good match. Yeah. But like, why am I catching? That was the first thing that mattered today. And obviously we can see whose email it is, and we know who it is. Like, I don't think you're not as anonymous if you use your name as your email. But like, why is that the first thing you want to do? Like, don't celebrate your guy's dub. Like, run to the message board and be like, "Told you so. He was overrated. Took 30. He was ranked 1, and he lost to number 2, and number 3 was in the finals with them. Like, come on, bro, be better."
Yeah, I love those ones because it's like, it was a 1-point match. It could have gone either way. It wasn't like he tech falled him.
No,
There
so
was-
like that's always like so wild to me. It was a good match. Stanley got the first takedown. Schaefer got an escape and got a takedown. Made it 4-3. I don't remember how the rest of the scoring went, but just probably a reversal and an escape, right?
yeah.
So because they ended on their feet, but I mean, I always think that's weird. Like, celebrate your win. Like, why you want to trash the people that lost?
Yeah.
I mean, hey man, if you knew it, then cool, good for you.
Yeah. Schaefer, great kid, great family.
Yeah, great interview too.
I think people take the rankings a little personal, like, oh, you must not like Schaefer's or whatever, or whoever.
Yeah.
You don't like the Reynolds family. No, it's just kind of.
Yeah, really. I mean, really, what the thing that was the difference between all those guys, number one, was that Stanley won IHPO.
Yeah.
And a pretty good weight. And I like him. He's a little kid, man. I see him at the gas station sometimes. Nice kid. Always respectful.
No. Does he buy you a Monster?
Never, man. Never. He's never bought me an orange Monster.
So he's going to have to minimum starting out number 3 next year, right?
Yeah. We'll have to see. But Schaefer, like, I thought he was one of the more well-spoken interviews in the finals too.
Yeah. I did get, if you guys didn't check, I did a decent little interviews with some of the guys. They were trying to shoo us out of there. Falcons wanted to go home. So he was trying to get us out of there, but talked to some of the kids, and Schaefer is real good interview. So great kid, great family, and definitely good, happy to see him win. Beat that Reynolds match was just absolutely electric.
Yeah.
Crazy takedown in the last second. I do not want to be a ref. I do not want to make that call. Watching the slow-mo on the big screen, I'm like,
yeah, they don't have the luxury of that, obviously.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, wild ending there.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a takedown. I don't want to. I mean, either way, the ref's gonna have to stick with it, or there's gonna be shrapnel on the mat. So I don't. That's a crazy match.
And at that point, like, you made the call. You asked you did exactly what you did. You made your call. You asked for help, and the call stood.
Yeah.
Wild ending there.
Yeah, and it's all in all honesty, it's a determination of what you consider reaction time. That's what it is. I mean, and that's a very hard judgment to make in a situation of two guys scrambling around and stuff. So, Evan Stanley over Peyton Richards, 11-0. Gunnar Butt over Jack Davis for 5th. And then Justice Thornton over Terry Easley. So who will be back next year? Davis will be back. Reynolds will be back. Easley's a senior, right?
Yep.
I mean, not only does Warren Central misspell names, they don't even put grades in. Maybe get the red shirt.
I think it goes the other way. You got a red shirt early.
Stanley,
Richards,
Farrow.
I mean, there's a lot of returning. We're gonna have a pretty good state tournament next year.
And Mr. Leach, why can't we? I mean, we can. It's not technically a rule, but you can always circumvent rules like that. I guess the IHSA can say we're gonna have replays. I don't think it would change anything. NCAA, they still have trouble with replays, and those guys are used to it. They do it in every match. I just don't think it's going to change anything. And when they don't use it throughout the season, and then you throw this on them, I don't think it helps.
I don't think it was the most atrocious call I've ever seen.
No,
like, I've seen one.
Yeah,
2 more years of Stanley and Reynolds.
I'd pay for that.
We didn't even get to see it this year. Maybe we can, maybe we'll see it next year.
Yeah, maybe we can schedule them at IPO or something. I'd love to. I mean, both those guys get after it. Reynolds is so good scrambling. He is a fun scrambler. I noticed that first time I saw him at Iron Man. I'm like, whoa, this dude can scramble, and he ends up on top. Yeah, great scrambler. And you got someone like Stanley who just likes to score points. So that's a recipe for another good match. So yeah,
both those guys are right. Pastor Nick and Rex Brewer. Both of those, right? If you had replay, it'd take 3 days to run a tournament. Man, the coaches are already spending all their time at the table anyways. Like we need more coaches misconducts when they're questioning calls. Like
Man.
we don't need a coach to go to the table to question every single call.
My favorite ones are there's a takedown or something on the edge, and he originally says 3. The ref, without any confrontation, goes over and checks with the assistant, and then he goes no. So then you see the opposing coach start heading to the table. Then he says no takedown. Then you see the other coach rush over there. It's always like so
it's like but like in the rule, and obviously like these dudes are, the officials work with these guys all year long. I'm sure there's relationships built, but like by the definition, like you're not supposed to question, right? like if you go to the table, you can be warned. You don't get But man, I know, Jason. Man, I'm just doubling down so I don't get all this official hate. I'm trying to make nice with all the officials. There's some officials that think I'm too critical right now. I'm trying to be less critical. I've been taking some classes. Unless you were sitting in section 18, then you probably heard me being ultra critical.
Bayless was they were in a different section. I saw where the extra officials were sitting.
Randy Griff and Bayless and probably all those guys were probably, man, this guy's pretty. The New Prairie fans, they're probably like, this guy makes some pretty critical. He can be critical.
Yeah. No, I don't think video review. There aren't very many change. They're a little. I think they're getting better in college, but they've been using it for multiple years. I just don't see it working well in high school. And yeah, and my biggest thing, and I've told a couple people this, I was like, especially say like a match like the Schaefer and that did and end in a crazy call, but like Gendris and Rio, both guys, you're kind of you're like, man, one of these guys is gonna get a title. You just hope it's not in a crazy controversial call.
Mm-hmm.
That we're talking about the call instead of celebrating the kid that won, and that's stuff. Kevin, if you had a brick, you'd hurt the officials. You'd be throwing them. I mean, when I was coaching, I'd love to have a brick to throw at officials. Boy, man,
Not me, man. I love all officials.
You would just tap them on the shoulder. Can you please review that?
I'd be like the Ben Davis Giant. Excuse me, sir. Can I talk to you for 1 second? The Ben Davis Giant's still around. I see my boy Nick Weaver out Saturday night, which made me feel incredibly old because I remember ranking him in the rankings and felt like, why is this child in the bar? But
he still looks like he's the same age.
Yeah, we had a good conversation about the Ben Davis Giant and if he was still around.
Yes, we need to bring him back. Maybe
we do not.
Maybe he'll transfer to Brownsburg. Free transfers.
That'd be great. I think one of Dane's kids' first words were "Let's go, Big D."
I don't think the kids that the youngest one goes to state anymore because he's like he has PTSD from it.
Bro, I blame my brother for letting that guy into our life. All right, top quarter bracket. Man, we started off 144 with a bang, man. Hornsby over Hyvert. I did not have that. No disrespect to the Hornsby family. Watching Jeffrey this year, I would have put a pretty high number if we were doing confidence picks. I thought he was wrestling at a really high level, and Hornsby with the 6-2 win. That was an incredible win for them.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very unexpected. Hornsby got after it, did what he needed to do to win. Doss over Cohen Long.
By fall.
I don't think Triple B claims kids as Triple B trained unless they win. So at least that match.
Really, really good match in this quarter bracket. This is probably one of my favorite matches of the quarterfinals. Not because, and obviously everyone knows I'm a Hagwood fan, but man, Luke Reed and Hagwood, he was up big, and Luke Reed just kind of kept grinding back, and just really, really a great match right there.
Yeah, that was a fun match. Yeah,
I'm
more of a Brody Hagwood fan than a Brock Hagwood fan, but
He harnessed the power of Coach Cook's wrestling tie and made it happen.
Yes.
He handed down from generation of Cooks to Cook.
the Cook wrestling tie, and then Tommy Gibbs 7-2 over Sam Bustamante.
That was a good match too. Bustamante had a really good weekend.
Mm-hmm. And then
I heard talking with Zach Mello, he said Bustamante does everything right. Like eats right, lifts when he's told to lift, like listens in the room, and I think that's a really underrated quality. I kind of told Zach the same thing is kids that actually listen, right?
Yeah. No, that's a
man. Who was it? New Pal's coach. New Pal's coach was rocking a long tie, man. I ain't seen a tie that long since 1994. That long red tie, man. Dude, that's about the longest tie I've ever seen, honestly.
Yeah. Then the battle for New Pal Hornsby over Das, fall on overtime. Crazy match. Then
I wanted to ask the New Pal. Is it not Palestine? Is that what it is? Is New Palestine? He's gonna call it Palestine.
You know, I heard the announcer this week was saying that, and then at the cheer competitions, the announcer was saying Palestine. I just call it Palestine. I've never been corrected. I've been corrected about Hobart and Hobart.
Yeah, I never have either. I wonder if that was a tense match though. I don't know the circumstances of why Hornsby left or like how that all played out, but I mean, those are guys that were teammates, you know.
I do have a question for you when you talk about corrections. I remember the word that my wife says. She has a Chicago accent.
Okay.
Can you say windy?
Windy?
Yeah.
Windy.
Yours isn't as bad. When she says it sounds like she's saying Wendy.
Wendy. Man, there's one thing that like I never knew I said, and then like someone was giving me a hard time. I feel like I say cousin, like with a T, like cousin. Like that's my cousin.
Yes.
And man, it drives me crazy now that someone pointed it out. So I try not to talk about family.
You say out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
you emphasize that. Usually you say like out of bounds.
Out of bounds. Almost
sounds like out of bounds. Yeah. Yeah. My wife, we give her a hard time when she says Wendy. And we're like, Wendy? No, we don't. I don't know where Wendy is. And then she gets mad at us. And then, yeah. So, and then I have to worry about filing paperwork, unlike you.
Kevin Doss said 4 point swing from Doss from the refs. Tough. Yeah. There was definitely some wild scrambles and there's some wild matches. Was that the one where they cut and then they didn't feel like it was a separate? I know there was one that was like one of the criticisms, but I don't remember what match it was where they weren't like clearly separated, like they didn't come up and then they turned around. But I don't remember if that was a match or not.
Yeah, I have to watch. Yeah, that one. I think that one has a crazy ending and right towards the end, there are a lot of matches and just close. I'd have to rewatch it to give a full opinion. But I know it was a controversial call. It's kind of crazy.
Stitz and Staples. Sean's right. No, that's the one. It was Stitz and Staples match. 100% it was that one.
Yeah. So, Tommy Gibbs over Luke Reed. No tie power there. All ran out.
Jason said he doesn't care what tie Jason wears.
Yeah. So, then Tommy Gibbs not getting paid by the hour. Spent 38 seconds on the mat there in the finals, and then had just an epic interview about 4 words.
I called that scissor. I seen that. So ref called the takedown and took it away. Okay, I do remember that. I called that scissor right away though. Like as soon as that happened, I was like, "That's a scissor. That's illegal." And I kind of looked at you because obviously you probably know the rules better than I do. I was like, "That's a scissor, right?" And you're like, "Yeah." And then they called it. Tough call.
I think that's not a fun way to take it to overtime.
I don't think he's trying to scissor there. I don't think that was the intention, you know?
Yeah. And they in those positions they have like different types of scissors that are like draping scissors versus like a head scissors is 100% illegal, but a draping scissors where you have like the arm in between, not illegal, but then it can become illegal. It's a weird situation, and
Yeah.
at times I don't totally understand why some of them are called that way. So then Doss over Luke Reed for third. Obviously, like we said, the Tide Power ran out. Jeffrey Hybert runs back to fifth over Bustamante. Brody Haywood, sorry, or Cohen Long.
I should have told anybody. I didn't post it on Indiana Matt, but my boy Matt did say anyone that wanted to sell his tickets, he had unlimited funds for you.
Selling his tickets to NCAs?
No, he just wanted he wanted tickets for the finals, but he said he couldn't find none, and online they were just too like he couldn't get by our section. He's like, if you see anybody, like tell them that I'll buy them.
The seats right beside me, like where we bought, no one ever sat in them all weekend.
That's what I told him. I said, dude, I'll give you my ticket if you want to. I said if you want to come in, I said just come in here and like I'll give you my ticket, man, and then you can sit next to us. And then he's being a big baby.
Oh, jeez. I love the Hagwoods. Anyway, 150. We'll talk about my second favorite Hagwood brother soon. Adrian Palat over Jesus Lopez, 58-second fall. Gavin Davis over Michael Kane. Pretty good match there, as kind of two guys that really like to get after it. That was a good one. I did not want to do that.
Michael Kane had some good hair too.
Yes, he did. Then Evan Rowdy Bush, 45-second fall over.
Did we skip a weight?
Chance McCullough.
We talk about 57? No.
Oh, geez.
Yikes.
Hold on. There's 57. Yeah, there's 50. Sorry. I guess these are out of order. I thought I put them in order when I did this. Never mind.
What does that mean? No offense, because it wasn't said as that. I just know the scum's out there waiting. Ooh, I don't know who the scum is.
I think that is someone that needs to be banned. I don't know.
I was so.
It got hidden all
right
away. So
yeah, right out the bat, Silas Foster had a win over Michael Ortega this summer. And Michael Ortega was on fire. Went out there, got a 25-second fall. Rocking some old school Portage singlets too.
He is old school Portage tough, region style.
Dude,
he needs to start a club called Region Style to bring back the Region Style.
Man, what talk? Are you gonna break it down? We'll go to the finals and start from there.
Might as well. I guess we can talk about the finals because that was a. I mean, our recap of this weight class won't take as long as that finals match did.
Man, that's to me, in my opinion. I told Mike Senior, and I know Josh Reynolds sent me an article to send to those guys. That's region to me. Like when someone's asking me about like region wrestling, like what Michael Ortega put on this weekend was like region wrestling, just all go, like bloody, like doesn't care, gonna fight, taped. Couldn't even see on the award stand. They had to like help him off the award stand. They had his eyes taped up, and that's not to take away with Parker. Like Parker had a crazy story. He's had a crazy career. I was telling Josh, I think not at lunch, but maybe like early after Friday, like obviously we knew that he was in a car accident. You know, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but man, like if you've seen the pictures of the car, like it was pretty significant.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, we don't want, to make it look like we're making excuses and we just want to wrestle. And I was like, it's not like about that. Like, it's about like, there's people that are honestly like dealing with things that like, that's motivating. And they sent me, like Josh sent me a couple of messages today that people had reached out, was like, hey, I'm dealing with this. And like hearing your son's story, like, really motivated us. I have the thoracic outlet and we're going to, get this surgery. Right. And I think that's pretty impressive. And then that final was awesome. Like I can't say enough about, and obviously like the comments are going crazy, right? Like when he was like leaking. That's the most blood I've ever seen in a match, like not from a nose.
How did the ref not see it? The one of the refs that was sitting on the side like had to run off and like run on the mat, and then when he gets up, you see Reynolds' back just covered.
Well, he split it in the Doster match, and they start taping him there, and then I watched him get split again when they were warming up, him, Arbery, and White. Like he had like a double, like a straight double, and then it was like leaking. I'm like, bro, like this is gonna be a problem. Like he's pretty cut. And then they kind of just went like heads at that point. I mean, Ortega comes out, gets a takedown right off the back, cuts him loose. Then Parker has a really nice double, and then takes the lead. And it was just back and forth and just to the end. It was like awesome. It was just an awesome match. I feel like that was great, man. That's like anyone that's like worried about like where the region wrestling's going, watch that video, and that's what we want. Like that's like, I mean, I know Rex talks about that a lot, but man, that right there is like what I thought was region wrestling growing up. Like that was what I was introduced to when I came to Indiana for wrestling. Like when I didn't know what wrestling was. So like when we would, go to state and see guys kind of slowing down the pace, I'm like, that's not wrestling to me. Like what those guys did, like Old Portage was, yeah, man, for real. That was good. Nick D, that's a good one. But dude, just man, that was a lot of blood. Like Parker was covered in blood, Ortega was covered in blood. They stopped the blood, and then he still had blood on him. Just a wild final. I think that was probably my favorite match under the lights. I mean, obviously I was gonna have a different idea just based on that, but dude, that was crazy. Like the pace of it was crazy. Reynolds talked about how he's probably one of the better guys on top in the state. Like he turns people pretty easily. Like his thumb was still messed up. I don't know how many turns he got. I don't think a lot. And he had to kind of change up his game and go takedowns. And it worked.
Yep. Yeah. And that just a crazy weight class, kind of one we thought was going to be pretty wide open. And it's one you could shake it up next week and see who comes out on top, and it might be someone different.
Man, I mean, I'm sure like it doesn't bother him, but like, why would you? And dude, Greg Straw is like one of the best in the business. He has the voice for it. He's great. But why would you you didn't win sectionals, you didn't win regionals, you didn't win semi-state? Like why was he bringing up his losses, man? Just like talk about this match. You just won this war. You're in this war right now, and like as it's going on, like the crowd's getting behind Ortega because like just the way the match is going, Acuna is like hyping up the crowd as they're like cheering, like his coach is in there, like literally cleaning up blood, like getting the crowd hyped. That was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Just the match overall. I'm happy for Parker. I know he's dealt with a lot of adversity. They're a good family. I'm happy for Ortega. Ortega's a good kid. Like someone's going to give that guy some money to wrestle. I think they're going to get a really good wrestler.
Yeah. I think they're going to get a good hard-nosed wrestler that'll do well in college. And
I think early on, he really wanted Indiana Tech. Indiana Tech was there. Obviously, they've seen that. Like to me, like that's a dog, man. I want that guy on my team.
Yeah.
Even if he's just a guy that's in the room, that's a guy that's just going to go in there and bang, right? like it doesn't matter, bloody, taped up. He's going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, I've seen that picture circulating quite often this weekend. So going backwards, Ortega pinned Foster for 25 seconds, took him down cradle.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, Ortega's means business. I was like, ooh, that's going to be, he's going to have another war coming up with Doster over Sassira 3-2. Knew that was going to be, man, this whole weight class, we knew this quarterfinals were going to be fun. That was a really good match. And then Lincoln Carter.
Man, Doster got a snap down out this world, right? He's banging people's heads off the mat.
Yeah, he does. And Lincoln Carter, Alex Smith said, we're not gonna play this throwing game. I'm gonna pin you, and I'm not gonna worry about that. Alex Smith's a dangerous wrestler, so that's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, that was an interesting one. He's obviously a senior. Reynolds over Marlon Kirksey. Another match that we were kind of interested in seeing just because of the style matchups. Reynolds did what he needed to do and got a good win there. Got a couple takedowns. Then Ortega over Easton Doster 9-3. A little bit. It was a lot closer than that. Good match. They were both getting after it was close, and Doster just couldn't get his offense going. He ends up defaulting the last match. I think there was a little bit of a lingering injury possibly there, and so then Reynolds over Carter in overtime. That real good match. Carter's tough. He's gonna be back next year. That's gonna be, he's obviously gonna be looking for revenge. First Eastside Blazer on the podium since 1996. So that was pretty cool for them. Carter third, Syra fifth over Kirksey, and then Foster over Alex Smith. Man, that's just a good weight class, and we kind of knew that would be a fun weight class from the beginning, and kind of lived up to what we were kind of expecting, just craziness. And I guess you could run this one again, shake it up a little bit, and you could run it 10 times, might have 10 different champs.
I agree. I thought that was a really good weight. That's an exciting weight class.
Yep. 157. These are a little bit out of order. MJ Staples, 1610 over Brock Hagwood.
Man, he almost got him at the end, though, right?
Oh boy, was that close! Yeah.
I was like looking, and it looked like Staples was cruising, and then what did he get, chin whipped?
Yeah, gave him a chin.
Whipping chins. Put him to his back. That's a lot of points.
He squeezed with all those. I mean, if Brock would have had bigger arms, I think he could have pinned him there. But his arms are look pretty small this year. I'm picking fights with the Hagwoods. I'm not afraid.
Sounds like it.
And then Silas Stitz over Maverick Duval. And then Christian Arbery over Brant Beck 4-3. Real good match. Close to the end. Mason Day over Jackson Bradley. Another really
good match too.
Yep. And that was one we were watching, like, how many matches in a row can Brownsburg win? And like that's one that Mason Day obviously was their lowest placer. So we kind of were like, he could be the one that, literally at a certain point, I think someone said that, like, no one wanted to be that first one to lose.
That's what I heard. Brock, yeah. That's what I heard, man. The arms were too big. The bicep was keeping him off the mat.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, Brock.
It's physics, Joe.
Yes. I mean, I had that same problem when I was wrestling, So Brock and I are pretty close to same builds. Except I was at 112. Ugh. Beating those Levitz kids back in the day. I did beat a Levitz. Brad Levitz.
Brad.
Can ask him.
Shout out to Brad.
Yeah, talk to Brad. Lesser known of the Levitz clan because he didn't place at state. So MJ Staples over Silas Sisson. That was a crazy ending there.
Yeah, so that's the one we were talking about. An escape and a takedown was awarded. We knew that was going to be a good match. We saw that at Al Smith. I'd have to go back and watch it. Like, it's tough, dude. We're not close enough to know, like, the call. Obviously, like, we're pretty far, and we're in Angle, and I had an eye infection that day, and but I think that's a battle, man. Just Staples had a good run, man. He had to win. He had to win every way possible, right?
Yeah, fight off his back, tough, escape, takedown. And then Russell, in the final. So then Arbery over Day 4-2, Staples over Arbery in the final 4-1. A little less craziness, and we scored on a go behind. Arbery kind of just took an ill-advised shot. Staples was waiting for him, so good match there. Staples becomes the first wrestler over 130 pounds to win a state title since like the 1920s.
I think Kim said this on the way home, and she's not wrong. Like, because I did it earlier and you just did it now. Not the first wrestler to win a state title over 157. There's been probably 75 of those, right?
Yeah.
The first freshman.
Freshman.
She's like, you guys keep saying the first wrestler. She's like, but I definitely saw more wrestlers over there. I was like, all right.
Freshman state champion over 130 pounds. 130 was the high. I mean, I listed the freshman state champions recently, and it was pretty low, and most of them were 126 and below. 130 was Blake Maurer.
Legend.
So, and then consolation, Silas Stitch wraps up a great career, beats Mason Day 10-0. Jackson Bradley over Brock Hagwood. So he has a little bit of bragging rights over Brody. And then Brant back over Maverick Duval for a 7th. It's just crazy. It's crazy looking at these weights and you're seeing these guys that are finishing lower from one year to another. And it's like just how tough these weights are and how little separation there is from 1 through 8 here.
There's a lot of guys returning here. Staples, Ratliff, Weaver, Bustamante, Duval, Dressler, Beck, Bradley, Van Titchell. That's a lot of returning wrestlers in a pretty high weight class. There's only so many spots you can go.
Yep. So we'll go back to 165. Somehow that got out of order. Adrian Palat pinned Jesus Lopez. Gavin Davis over Michael Caine, as we said. Rowdy Bush, 45-second fall over McCullough. And Michael Major, 1-0 over Leonardo Santiago. Really crazy match because Majors looked really good, really dominant. And then
he doesn't give up a lot of points.
Yeah. And it was just really Santiago ends up finishing 8th. So that was just a real weird, like, Major just didn't really push the action to try to separate themselves, but get a 1-0 win. It's a win. Win's a win here.
I'm petitioning for Brock Hagwood to have a 5th year.
Yes.
If we're going to allow transfers, let's let him come back 1 more year.
Yes. Got a redshirt year.
Yeah, that quarterfinal was really good.
Yep.
Santiago, I know that's a guy that, talking with Maggart, does it all the right way and had a really good finish to his career. You know, like Jeremiah said, that's one of his favorite guys.
I talked to him in the tunnel. He seemed like a real nice kid. He was laughing when I was giving Maggart and Harper a hard time. So you can tell if he allows me to give those guys a hard time, he's a good kid. So
then moving on, Major over Rowdy Bush. I was kind of surprised in that match. I was wondering who was going to get to the top position first, and Major. I mean, Rowdy Bush had an amazing career, and we talked about the amount of falls he's had. Both those guys are really good in the top position.
That was really good. That's not what I was wanting. So then Palat over Davis, and then Palat in the final. Good match. Major turned it up and made it a real good finals there.
And man, I think Adrian again is region, man. Like if you've seen Adrian as an 8th grader coming into high school, he was 5th at middle school state. You probably would have been like, this guy's going to be a runner-up and a champ, right? And just a testament to his hard work, his grit, and he sets a crazy pace. Like, he's never out of matches. He wrestles hard. In the top position, I feel like we're giving like a ton of credit to everybody else. He just grinds guys out. Like, Purdue's getting a really good one. I think his work ethic is incredible. Another guy that I would say, like, if you want to talk about like how to be like from the region, like Adrian is a guy that set a crazy pace.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know if his singlet was shiny all the time or if he was sweating through the singlet, but man, he was that Maryville singlet was glistening.
Yeah. Sure. I talked to him afterward. Kind of, it was interesting, you know, what got you to this level after, you know, he kept getting better and better, and definitely gave some props to that wrestling room, coaches and everything, and make him better. So,
dude, he just dude, I love the way David Maldonado coaches. I love his mentality of it. So, I mean, you seen it with Adrian, like guy got into the lights last year and got it done this year in a weight where I would be willing to bet there was a lot of people picking Rowdy Bush. I know through the whole year, every time he posted the number ones, there were people saying like, you misspelled Rowdy Bush, right?
Yeah.
Even after Adrian beat him at Al Smith. And I know that people were picking Aiden Costello a lot, and dude just kept grinding and finished it undefeated.
Yeah.
I know they were incredibly proud of Adrian.
So then going down, Rowdy Bush with a pin and for third, Michael Caine over Chance McCullough for fifth, and Jesus Lopez. It was seventh. Okay, now here we go. 175. Waylon Kressel didn't go a full 6 minutes.
Yeah, he puts up points, man. He's fun to watch. He's a guy that definitely racks up the points.
Yeah,
What do you think he'll wrestle in college? 84?
Yeah, he's an 84-pounder college. I don't think he's he could maybe make it up to 97. I don't think he's tall enough. His brother's tall. So if he hits a growth spurt, maybe. But I think he's.
What did his brother wrestle in college? 84 also?
I think he wrestled 97. And his one brother was 90 last year. So they have some height in the family. So I could see him maybe getting up there. I see more as an 84. Obviously, he still has one more year left, and who knows? But
I think he'll be 90 next year.
Yeah, he'll be 90 next year. I think he's right in the middle there where 75, I think there was some talk of going 90, but it was more like, do I need to cut the weight? It's not like he's cutting weight. I wouldn't be surprised maybe if he goes to like Ironman at 75, maybe.
Yeah.
My camera's like spazzing out on me.
I just thought maybe you were shaking a lot.
Yeah. So.
Like, dang, bro. I seen Joe out there in the club dancing it up. I didn't know the Moose went home with you.
Let's see.
Yeah, he's really good. I think last year he showed how good he was, and I think this year he's been incredibly dominant. I know he had beat Gunner early on. That's probably his closest match of the year, right?
Yeah, that was probably by far.
I mean, other than the Ironman matches.
Nope, that didn't help. Okay. Anyway, that's gonna be annoying for a little bit. There we go. Stop. Maybe.
Then other side of that bracket, Julian Weems running into the finals. Also, a guy that likes to put up bonus points. Pinned Michael Morton, and then also pinned Vincent Freeman, Vinny, to get under the lights.
Yeah, and
Julian Williams really good. I was really happy that he was able to compete the entire year. You know, fairly injury free. I'm sure he's got some injuries. He's kind of wrapped up pretty good, but he's exciting to watch.
Big one right there, Vinny Freeman over Xavier Smith, 12-9. Didn't really see that one. I mean, I thought that'd be a good match. So, and then obviously
Vinny's really good
over Bender. Freeman looked real good this weekend. Ran it to a third. Then Smith ran it to fifth over Landon Terry. The Terry brothers were really good, and that's going to be a big loss for Tell City to lose those guys. Coy Bender for seventh, but then Kressel Tech fall in the finals. He's good. Williams will be the interesting one. See, I know he kind of quit football for wrestling. Be a great wrestler in college. Good on top. Good on his feet.
Is he committed anywhere?
Not that I am aware of.
Is his dad in the military? I know I seen him. I thought he was like in fatigues at Team State. I mean, maybe one of the academies to grab him up. I think would be a good get.
I do not know.
Maybe Air Force.
Yeah, that'd be.
I'm sure Air Force's coach isn't watching, but if you like guys that get big pins.
Yes. They used to have a heavyweight that got a lot of big pins too.
He got a pin last night, just not for Air Force.
So 190. This one was one that we were talking about for a while. First match, Cesar Salas, Michael White. Did not have. I was not surprised that White won.
Military and a preacher from what Sarah Dickman heard.
That's
good, man.
That's real good. I did not have Michael. I won't say I didn't have Michael White winning. I did not have him winning by pin via a tilt.
Man, I was talking to someone about this too. That Caesar got pinned twice this year in a tilt. Like he got pinned at Ironman in a tilt also. It was surprising for sure. Michael White's pretty jacked, man.
Yeah.
Like he looks like he's lifted weights before. And if he hasn't, bro, let me know. Let me know what you're eating, man.
I think that's called genetics.
Let me get that couch. You ever seen The Fighter? Whenever they said that dude just came off the couch, he's like, dude, if that he just came off the couch, maybe get that couch.
Yes.
Same.
Yeah. And then Ethan Farnell, 16-11 over Sear Godwise. Godwise is really good. Going to be in the mix next year. And then Kyle Harden. Kyle Harden looked really good this weekend. 10-7 over Xavier Palacios. And then Gunnar Henry, 14-4 over Devin Kendricks Harrison. He added a last name for his last state tournament run. That one.
Shake it up. Yes. I like it.
And then semifinals, Michael White, Ethan Farnell were a good match. White just kind of outlasted him. I think looked like Farnell tweaked his knee or something. And just, I mean, it was a real good match. White just found a way to win. Dude, that dude can fight. And any college coaches that can, man, I'd be after him. I hope to see him. I mean, Pice at Fargo. Hopefully, you will see him in the near future. You might be seeing him in some national rankings coming up. Maybe. I know he's going to be extremely high on some watch list from what I gathered yesterday talking to somebody. Gunnar Henry over Kyle Harden. Did Harden get the first takedown?
Did he? I think it was close. Yeah. I thought he was close to get the first takedown.
I know that was a good match, and it was a little. Was not expecting Harden to come after him. If I'm not mistaken, I think he did. Someone will probably correct me before I can find it. Nope, wrong match. Yeah, or no, Gunnar got the first takedown. Sorry, he did get takedown in the third period. Harden did. So yeah, Harden was down 7-0, gets a takedown right away in the second period, and then in the third period, and it's like, oh, this might be a match. Henry just solid, top to bottom. Not, didn't get frazzled.
Nope.
So yeah, White has another year. Harden has another year. Godwise has another year.
Salas.
Yeah, Caesar has a lifetime.
Yeah, that Neil Bailey, you're right. That was a great match. Yeah. I don't know if it was the best match of the tournament for me, but it was a really good match. Yeah, Henry, 4-time semifinalist, all at big weights. I seen someone I felt like they try to minimize what he did. Where they're like, lucky VZ left. I was like, I don't know. He beat VZ as freshman. They were freshmen. Like, I think he's had pretty good success against VZ.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that he's lucky that he left. Gunnar's really good. And I think anyone that tries to minimize his success is crazy. For what he did at the weights that he did that at is unreal. And it took some pretty good athletes, some pretty good wrestlers. I don't want to say athletes, some pretty good wrestlers to keep him from winning multiple titles.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you hit that. I mean, he was really good and consistently really good over his career. And
he's a good person, man. Like every time, just ultra respectful, good kid. Man, I think he helped this. It was a building block of this Brownsburg run.
Yeah.
Like there's always guys that are going to be like the building block of what you're doing. And I think his leadership and kind of like the way he handled things, I think really helped those guys.
Yeah, definitely. And he was I think he's a nice kid. Can't say much about his father, but
I know his father's getting around in the comments. We just kind of scanned right over that. I think he thought someone was trashing him, and I think they were just like playing around.
No, he's a great kid, and good to see him get a title. And
Yeah.
That's, I mean, you can tell he works hard. I mean, there's that website thing where you can see all the 4-time placers, and there aren't many that have done it 4 times over 150. And
No.
they all ended up pretty good, especially down the road. And placing 1 time, like that. I mean, third, second, first. That's pretty good. Pretty good career.
And he had a great interview, man. People hunting, rodeo, wrestling.
Like, those things, all 3 things. Hey, man, it checks all those boxes if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. You ain't lying. That's the best.
Mike's out here trying to milk the bulls, so.
Man, sometimes we say things on here, and I don't even know how far they're gonna go. And then when you're at the state finals, people are asking you about that, and I'm, hey man, if we're out here milking bulls, we're out here milking bulls, bro.
Gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
You keep them calm, and I'll help them out, right? Like, so, no, just. And like I know, obviously we're making funny jokes. I think he deserves his roses for how good he's been, and with 2-time team state champ now. I would love to see that under lights too. I think that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Farnell, we were talking about those. Farnell over Hardin 10-1. Salas Tech fall over Kendricks. Those guys had a nice little rivalry.
Yeah.
Salas and Devin Kendricks. And then Sierra Godwise over Xavier Palacios by fall. So Palacio, and for my friend in the Brownsburg comment, not Brownsburg, but Belmont comment, he was ranked 8th, finished 8th. I'm not sure if he was underrated, but sometimes it works out like that. It doesn't always work out like that, but sometimes it does. Yeah, Kyle Hardin is going for 4
another one having a lot of success above 150 pounds. Looking for a
so Hardin or Palacios, Godwise, Salas, Hardin, and White all back next year. 5 of the 8.
And you're probably throwing in someone like Kressel.
Yep.
And anyone else possibly at 175 that doesn't want to cut weight. Let's see who else might be there. Yeah. I don't know.
Xavier Smith. Well, you heard maybe Cameron Hazlett throwing his hat into the ring. He said he's going to cut down to 190 to build back up.
Maybe I'll just stay there. So, 215. Hankey over Jet Goldsberry. Goldsberry, just, you can tell he is good, just undersized. Once you start to get to this level, especially at a weight like this, size is going to be a factor. And that just, I think that in the end, that's probably what it is. Goldsberry, freak athlete, pretty darn good. Man, your buddy keeps getting on here. Why'd you give it? Or something?
He's not even aware we don't have 225 anymore, man. I don't know if we ever did. Bartosik over Falor 11-1. Brewer 8-0 over Austin Reading. And then Noah Weaver, Tech fall over Malachi Evans. Noah Weaver's pretty good at wrestling.
Yeah. I don't know if he these guys that like say, I like to wrestle and stuff, but then they end the matches as soon as possible. Like, do you like to wrestle or do you just want to get it over with? I don't know. So, Weaver, super nice kid. I mean, I'd love to sit and have like a 20-minute interview with him because I think he'd just keep talking and talking. And it's good. In the interview that I talked, he said he, like his sophomore year, about quit wrestling for about a day.
Yeah.
But
dude, someone told me he's dating Isabel Kaplan, as it was his shout out on his girlfriend.
Yes, I believe he is, if I'm not mistaken. Because he comes, I might come up when he comes up to Fort Wayne, might get a little training session in, spar with him a little bit.
There you go, man.
He, it's one of the things that I think we said it last week, but it was one of those things that, man, he has improved by just leaps and bounds every year, which is
working hard. And, I'm sure he started both interviews off back-to-back years. He has an incredible belief in Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So Rose Kaplan, the older one.
Rose Kaplan,
Oh,
sorry.
oh, geez.
No, dude, with the shout out, man.
Ooh. Didn't want to get him in trouble with the
Dude, I just guessed. I'm sorry, man. We got like 3 times in a dude. Hey, sorry, we're just spreading rumors, spreading lies. We appreciate you guys.
Gotta hit the rewind button. So
yeah, we'll edit that out. We're sorry. One of the Kaplans, I'm sorry.
Man, that's not gonna go good with the family.
Nope.
So yeah, just great career, and just I just love seeing the improvement. And like last year when he beat Gunner, I'm like, when I started seeing him at state last year, I'm like,
yeah,
I was like, he might beat Gunner. And Gunner, like you said, Gunner's been at this level this whole time, and then someone like Noah just keep it. And now, I mean, he's top 5 in the country. So that's if you would have said after his sophomore year, like, would he be top 5 in the country? I could say, yeah, he could be maybe 15 to 20, but not that high. And he just kept improving, and I hope I'm excited to see how he continues to progress through college. The big question will be what weight. I know he kind of was saying maybe 97, but you never know. I think he knows where that weight room thing is, and
I think so too.
Might be able to find that and see how he does there. So I'm excited to see him get after it in college. The only bad thing about these seniors is a lot of them redshirt as freshmen, so you kind of almost forget about them, and then you're like, oh crap, here comes Jake Hockaday. I haven't seen him for a year. Here comes Noah Weaver. I haven't seen him for, and so it's always, I like it when they go early. So that's my hint for you. Go early.
I think that, yeah, and we talked about it. I think that's a really cool testament to the sport. Like, if you work hard and you get around the right people, like, you can grow leaps and bounds. And I think that's kind of the same concept, right? Like, he's one of the top dudes in the country. Like, last year, it was like, oh man, he's like, cool. That's like, he's one of the best guys in the state. Now he's one of the best guys in the country. So I mean, for everyone that watches the show and they want to be the best, like, and reach out, man. I'm sure he has some training tips, and he tells everyone to reach out to him through his Instagram, and you can ask him about his journey and find out, hey man, how did you become one of the top 5 guys in the country of the United States?
And I think he has about a couple brothers. If you want to get some good sparring partners, I'm just waiting for. I mean, Jacob is junior, and that's one I'm just gonna kind of keep an eye on. Like, is he gonna take he definitely has improved this year. Is he gonna take that kind of leap again and be a contender for a state title?
He had a tough Friday night too.
So that's it's kind of cool to see and fun to follow kids like that. They're just like, man, can he get much better? Oh geez, he got a lot better. So and speaking of someone that had a real good career, real good senior year, Jaden Bartosik made it in the finals, beat a tough kid.
Also, another guy looks like he knows where the weight room's at. They said he does not play football
because Hanover doesn't have a football team either.
They do.
They just started one, didn't they?
It probably lasts probably 7 to 10 years. But man, they're not a big school. Like, you'd think that guy be, playing defense, tackling guys, but nope.
How's that football coach not just drag him out there? Probably because he could, probably not as big as him, so it's probably good.
Well, yeah, how you gonna drag him out? You got to get him out of house.
You got to go through Howard Morrison first.
No, great career for Jaden. He wrestled really well. I mean, that's a tall order for anybody. Weaver is obviously incredible. Like, just goes to work, and Jaden with a huge win over Hankey in the the semis.
Yeah, that was Hankey had the weight of Fort Wayne on his back to get us to the finals. Disappointing. Still proud of my Fort Wayne guys.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it was karma for all the trash for talking to me on Friday night. In Chicago, eliminating Fort Wayne from the contention of a finalist. So little wins.
That's a big win right there. That's a big win. That's just like stomping on a grave.
Jaden's a guy that's got a lot better too. I mean, Coach Bradbury is doing a lot of really good things over there at Hanover. Has a good staff. They got this guy running a club out of their program, out of their school, and he's pretty good. Andrew Howe and John Morrison, Bobby Joe Maldonado. Eric McGill's in there sometimes. Not a bad group.
No, not a bad group to learn from. So they all had pretty good success in college and had some. Cool thing is they all wrestled in college, but all different schools. So it's not just one mentality of whatever school. It's a lot of different minds they can put together.
Yeah. What was Andrew's Northwestern and Oklahoma?
Wisconsin, Oklahoma. But
Wisconsin.
coach at Northwestern.
Sorry.
But he's been to a lot of different places, so he has.
Dude, honestly, like not to take any shine off of what Jaden's done and all that, but I know we don't have to talk about Andrew. We've talked about Andrew enough. But yeah, no, pretty good guys to learn from, and he's really improved and got under the lights.
Then Caden Brewer wrapped up a real fine career also himself with a third place finish, 1-0 over Hankey. Brewer over Reading in the quarters. And then fifth was Reading, came back for fifth. Good to see him finish strong. He'll be coming back. So we'll floor.
Yep.
Malachi Evans from Penn. He
and a shootout
with Jet. Two good athletes. Two guys that I know they were hinting that maybe Malachi could go down to 90. Probably a good move. Ends up getting seventh there. So good career for him. Goldsberry will be back next year. Burgett. I saw Burgett wrestled at Indy Nationals.
I didn't even check my Indy Nationals results. Long nights, boys. Long nights.
I saw Harder World wrestling there. He won at heavyweight, so he still does wrestle. So Hartley Hoover will be back. He had a real good season. And then Derek Morrison will be back. So some good Fort Wayne guys will be back too. So heavyweight,
285.
Real good weight. Another one that had a lot of matchups on Friday night that we were looking forward to. Caleb Evans, Joe Maverick, overtime. Went to overtime the first time. That time, this time Evans got done in the first one. And then actually we already talked about that, but Samborski over Evans 4-2. Knew that.
1 and 2 in the preseason mag. Samborski and Evans. Do you know it was 3?
No. Well,
Cameron Hazlett.
Wasn't Samborski down at 215 in the preseason?
Oh, yeah, never mind. He was at 215. You're right. Hartle Road was 1.
Yeah.
Sorry. Samborski was 2 at 215.
Yeah. So, Declan Guard over Jakari Markey. They fixed his spelling. Thank you. Ultimate tiebreaker. Markey, man, he's going to be problems next year. He's going to continue to get better. Obviously, there's another guy that isn't too bad. Hazlett over Isaiah Kuhlman 5-0. That was one. I've seen Hazlett a little bit. I saw him at Al Smith. I was like, he's pretty good. Kuhlman is a big dude, and I was like, and he moves pretty good for his size.
Was that the match where like they kind of went to the side, and I felt like I think Cameron looked at Kevin and said, he's strong. I think that was the match. He's really strong.
Good old farm boy strength right there.
I'm sure Kevin was watching, and he could tell us that was the comment that Cameron said when they were going back to the middle.
I saw him. He wrestled the Carroll Cadet Regional and just had locked and just said, we're not going to play games today. So then Big Max Forrester, yes, won over William Glessing. Semifinals, Samborski Tex Declan Guard, Hazlett over Forrester 7-1. Just kind of stayed in good position, found an opening, kind of what he does.
Did he have like a little arm whip, like snap down? That the first takedown, I felt like Max kind of hit his head there. I know he took a little time. Just real diverse offense for Hazlett. Yeah. They said Max had a banged up knee too, that he had banged up his knee this summer. Had to take some time off and kind of wrestled on an injured knee.
And we'll wait for the finals match last. Forrester over Guard for third. Isaiah Kuhlman still has one more year left over Markey, who has another year left by fall. And then Caleb Evans for seventh over Glessing. Glessing's only a sophomore. Some young guys in here.
Catfish. That's what they told me. They call him Catfish. Say he looks like Catfish. Overtime snap down. Kid's a phenom. They're right from the man, Jason Forster, front row seat. Uh, they told me William Glessing, they call him Catfish. The whole time I said, man, why do they call him Catfish? They said they've been calling him Catfish forever. So said he looked like a catfish when he was a little kid. So.
Nice. I was hoping it was because he liked to fish or something, but I guess not.
Well, I thought the worst case, I thought maybe like he had an online girlfriend that was different when they showed up. But nope, it said just looked like catfish. Yeah. So when they were saying that, I kept saying like, who are they? Are they saying Catfish? Am I saying Glessing wrong?
We've mispronounced names, but not that bad.
So I'm gonna sneak in there and put Catfish on his
profile. Do we need to add nickname? We got the pronunciation.
Nah, I feel like they get too crazy. I feel like if we did that, they might get too wild.
Yes, that would be very interesting to see. We'll just dub them we'll dub them nicknames. I mean, we got Cameron Hazlett. We are calling him Baby Gable, right?
I seen that someone said he got a shout out on Instagram.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. But yeah, he reminds me of Gable just in his body type, the way he moves. Gable early on, he never looked like he was very. He just looked like kind of a pudgy kid, and then he goes out and just dominates you. And you're like, oh crap, what just hit me? And
bro, when he was a real little kid, he was like a short, pudgy kid. He would just kill people.
So Hazlett over Szymborski in the finals. Man, got the second period. That ride out was impressive. I mean, I would say that was almost more impressive than the takedown. To me, it was just like, wow, he's riding him for 2 minutes, putting legs in, keep breaking him down, and I was like, whoa, this is
and Szymborski's good with the legs too. That was like the impressive part. I feel like usually if you're pretty good with the legs, you're pretty good at getting away from the legs also. And Cam did a really good job.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. And
he looks like he hit the weight right. He had that WWE diet, bro.
Yes. That WWE diet gets a lot of extra protein. So yeah, Hazlett just obviously, as we said, freshman state champion, heavyweight, first one ever. Last time we had one in the finals was 1940. Probably about time Jason Leach was crawling around in his diapers. To throw him some shade.
That's when Jason Leach said he started growing that beard.
Yes. So that was just very impressive. There are no seeds, Troy, Lewis, Allen. It's
the top 4 winners from the semi-state are 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then they just randomly draw that out of the hat. And then that's how you feed into it. So one's going to wrestle 4 and whatever semi-state you draw. So if East Chicago draws Fort Wayne, they cross bracket that and they put them into the pool.
Yeah.
And I told Jason this, and Max is really good. Max lost last year really early. I had him ranked pretty high, and he ran all the state semifinals this year. It's not like he had an injured leg. Really nice kid. I know he's dealt with some injuries also. So I hope I don't know what his plans are after high school, but I think someone could find himself a really good heavyweight. I don't even think he's scratched the surface how good he can be.
Yeah, he's suffered some. Obviously, he had 2 years that were out because of injury during high school, and kind of just showed what kind of improvement when he has 2 full seasons under his belt.
And I was talking with Joe Hansen. They had Juris on Friday night, and he was just kind of talking about that match, and he said Max is really strong and even stronger than he looks. And he said he looks strong, right? Right. And he just said that the kind of same thing everyone says, how good of a kid he is. Mm-hmm. He's just a good kid. I know anyone that's ever been on a team with them, and that's a testament to Jason as a father. Better than being a good athlete and a good wrestler is they want your kids to be good people. And I know Hawk's a big fan. He speaks very highly of them. They're on some teams together, and just I don't know if anyone's looking for a heavyweight out there, but I don't know if that's what's Max's plans after high school, but I think they could probably get him a really good one. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be the D1 level. I thought a lot of guys, Ashton Matua, I thought had a really good career, just wrestled for Nigeria in the Olympics. He was, I think he was at Cumberland's. Obviously, my boy Nick Fowler, All-American at Calumet College, and that's I think Kevin could probably say that's Cam in a nutshell right there. That right there. So he walks in the weigh-ins and looks around and says, "All these guys loudly. All these guys are all huge." LOL. Backstage, they all had such a great sportsmanship. Should have seen Cam and Max. Yeah, I like to see. Like, I think that's a tough one, man. That was a tough one in the semis, and obviously there's no seeding, but I'd like to see Szymborski and Max again. We saw him at Carnahan. It was a tight one.
Yeah.
Kind of a contrasting of styles. But
it was interesting. Check out the interviews. I was talking to Cam afterward, and I was like, what was the difference between when you lost to Szymborski the first time versus beating him the last 4 times? And it's something that we kind of said off the air, and I kind of told him afterward that he was just a little timid. He wasn't sure what to do. He was wrestling a senior kid that he knew was supposed to be really good, and just didn't have the confidence in his abilities and himself. And then kind of beat him the one time in overtime, then got a little bit further, just kept building that confidence. And as the scariest thing you can have, especially for those young guys, is confidence, especially for those freshmen and sophomore. That is a scary thing, and especially someone with that kind of ability was
backflip to the splits, man. Said he didn't stick the backflip, so he had to, go a little harder and go into the splits.
Sure, that was probably taught by English, right? I mean, the English probably can do that.
I think they said Jason Miller, right? At
Heartland Duels. Jason Miller. Okay. What?
Your son is born, and you look at him and say he's going to be a heavyweight. We'll call him Maximus. Pretty good foreshadowing.
Yeah, yes. Dude, that'd have been kind of bad if I named my son Maximus and he became small.
He's a Rocco. I think he
acts like a Rocco. So, great state finals overall. Great time. It's always fun to meet all the people and walking by. Oh, there's the Indiana Matt guy. Oh, there's, it's.
Yeah, it never gets old. Like, I don't know. It's different. It's a different vibe. I always think it's really cool. It's cool to meet the people from the show.
I think our show, doing this for the last, 10 years of doing the show for like about 10 years or whatever it is. I'd have to go look, but really has helped propel the website, because now you have these beautiful faces that you can see and stuff and talk to, and so it's nice to meet the people. We met someone that had been on a timeout at one time, and he promised he would not do anything that would get him on any more timeouts, so that's good. He did promise that, right?
I think, it's always cool to meet people. We don't know everyone that watches the show. Obviously we see the names in here. It was cool when they came out Friday. When you're out and about in the city, it's always really cool to see the people and the people you build relationships with. You go out to lunch and you see people, and shout out to my boy Brandon Barton, man. They were like, this guy's really your friend. Yeah, man, I love Brandon Barton, man. That dude's, I don't know if I love him. Let me take that back. I like Brandon Barton. But he gives me a lot of information out of that Logansport area. I get to see a lot of guys over there. And it's always a cool thing to be there, man. And now my brother gets to get part of that because he looks like me and gets some of that love. But
the best is when you go to lunch and you just walk in and you get seated right away, and everyone's like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" I was like, "Do you guys know who we are?" They're like, "Yes."
Yeah, I mean, you go out and just out and about, and you see a lot of people. I told you off. I've seen some of the. We see Nick Weaver, who, probably right when we started doing the show, was one of the guys from Brownsburg that was kind of at the base level, and we're just here talking wrestling. And we appreciate everyone that comments in here and kind of, it's interactive. I think because I have ADD and it's hard for me to pay attention most of the time, but and I'm sure someone throw a squirrel in there, but he was telling me how much it meant to him when he was in high school, that we were saying, "Oh, this is my boy. I love the way he wrestles. That's my guy." And he was like, yeah, he just didn't like that meant the world to me when I was there. Like that people were recognizing what I was doing, and I'm sure it's not for everybody. I'm sure there's some people that don't care, but I think it's been a pretty cool journey. And state finals every year is like one of those things where you realize that.
Yeah, definitely a fun time. Always. The only bad thing is it like just ends like right away. Season's over.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa. So yeah, I'm trying to see when our first episode was just for fun. And I'm trying to
the Google Hangouts, the original Google Hangouts. Yeah, it's been like a weird like and dude, I'm very open. I tell people I never thought this was gonna take off. Like, we want to talk rankings. Like, people don't want to hear that. And then a couple of people did, and we kept doing it. And at first, people I felt like were didn't want to come up and like say hi or whatever. Like you could tell. And then like as it's become more interactive and like generally we're pretty nice to guys. I don't think the joke could be a little abrasive, but yeah, I know. I tell Brian Bell we're gonna try to do some ISWA stuff. This is the first year since ever, like I remember, that I'm not coaching softball in the spring. I'm not going to coach high school this year. I'm not. My daughters are still playing, so I'm going to go to the games, obviously. But I'm not playing baseball. I'm not playing. Like obviously you're in college, you're playing in the snow and all that. But I'm going to try to do some more ISWA stuff. I think I say that every year, and then I don't. But this year I don't really have an excuse. But I think Brian's right. Like Brian, we don't give enough credit to the dual teams that are being represented. That cadet team last year was unreal. The one that like a lot of the guys that were wrestling this weekend under the lights or in the semifinals that were getting medals were on that team. And we need to I guess we're the voice of Indiana wrestling right now. Now that Kevin Whitehead's retired. No. He's always gonna be the voice of Indiana wrestling to me. But I think we could do a better job of promoting some of the summer stuff. But we get busy too. Like we put a lot into this during the season. I understand why Joe gets, upset sometimes on the board when people are trash talking because dude, this is a lot of work. Like to maintain the site, to get the articles up. Joe wrote all those. I don't know if he wrote them all, but like a lot of those articles that went out last week were Joe did that. Like I didn't do any articles. I'm out here trying to crowdsource stuff. The rankings, like whether like people are like, yeah, he just throws them together. I do take pride in that. So it does, like when people are trashing it, I get it. But like also like, dude, there's hours of my day that I'm losing by like doing something I don't have a part in. I'm not coaching. I don't have a kid that wrestles. My nephew's in middle school, but I don't do those rankings. And I think, and there's a huge amount of people that are very thankful to that, and they tell you. But so when people are on there, they're trashing the rankings or they're trashing the site. It's like, bro, like you don't have to come here. You don't have to like it. It's fine. But like, keep your opinion to yourself. Like, I don't know. My parents told me like if I didn't have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. And I kind of taken that through life. I'm not like going to go on there and bash somebody for when I'm not doing something. If I'm not trying to grow the sport, I'm not going to go on there and bash them. That
exactly. I understand the criticisms, like, but it's like, well, I had him ranked this all year like this. I'm like, no, you didn't. And I don't want to, I mean, we've defended the rankings a lot, and they're objective. They're not, so, I mean, if we went by your pick'ems, like someone was saying something about the power poll, and I'm like, the power poll is a guesstimate based on, and when we did the power poll based on the rankings, it was for the state. I just did, if you're number one, I ran you to the finals. And it didn't have any, it wasn't updated for what would have been. Yeah.
Thank you, Jason.
It was one of those things. And I'm like, I ran your pick'ems, and it was a lot more accurate, and which would have been basically the re-rankings. So, do you want to guess when our first episode was? What year?
2017.
Yeah, we weren't quite as regular.
Man, I was way off.
But I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna listen to it tonight, just see how bad it was.
I'm sure it was
Mike Morgan
fine.
for president. Yes, I'm voting for Morgan for president. Shortest president ever.
I'm gonna have to get that guy my number. But yeah, and dude, I get it, man. The rankings, like, it brings a lot of interest to it, and it's like part of it. But like, I think some of the stuff, like, I think you catch way too much flack for what you do for the sport, and I think that, I mean, obviously, like, there's people going at you, and um,
Yeah,
I don't get it, man. I don't get the like hate. I don't get the like the website's this or that. Like, you guys suck. It's like, no, you're lying. If you think the website sucks, you're lying. Don't lie. Don't be a troll. Like, you're going there, clicking it, trying to make fake names so you
yeah,
can talk trash about kids. And that's what they're doing, right? Like, when you say someone's overrated, and that's fine if you think they're overrated, but you're also talking about kids. I knew they were overrated the whole year. Cool, you're talking about a 16-year-old kid. Go have that conversation with their parent. Don't get on the message board and trash talk, get behind a screen name. Go have that conversation with their parent.
yeah,
I bet you don't. That's why I did that crowdsourcing for the East Chicago semi-state, because I get a lot of people with strong opinions about what we're doing. I was like, here's your opportunity. Put your picks out there. Put your
yeah,
name to it.
yeah.
Only a couple people
Yeah,
did
but
it.
I mean that's the thing. When we've kind of gotten away from predictions on the show and stuff, and we would get a lot of flack for that. I know one time I got caught out in a
Yeah.
local newspaper because I stated in my preview that someone's got there's something called the Belmont Magic at semi-state where they literally pull matches out of their behind and just like have these crazy wins and stuff, and it was meant as a compliment that they win matches that on paper they probably shouldn't have, and someone took it really offensively, and so he called me out in the newspaper. Probably slow news day in the greater Decatur area, but hopefully the new guy.
Not the new
Yes,
editor would never let that
yes.
run.
So it comes with the territory. We've been doing this. The site is now 16 years old. I think someone just asked that question. So yes, the site is 16 years old, and we'll be turned 17 this December. Starting on a whim, and look where we are now. And we're offering
Yeah.
suggestions to I'm on the IGSA broadcast show where I coach the
Yep.
IHWCA team state. We are a very big part of it, and I'm not in on that, but you and Dane are on that, and a lot of people. We have a lot of influences in different areas. Dane is also like Hall of Fame director or something, working pretty close with the Hall of Fame now. So I'll put that in.
Yeah, and dude, we have an incredible staff. Like, Caleb does a phenomenal job. His semi-state rankings are always really good. He didn't do as well in the pick'ems this year. That's the curse that comes with knowledge. Um, I'm just now trying to cut back on that. Dustin obviously does an incredible job. He's a huge ambassador for the site. Um, like, when you're out there and you see Dustin, it's just like,
Yeah,
he's just a good dude, man. And it's dude, we go down there every year, and I'm always so happy to see people that are like, we don't get to hang out. I mean, you live out in Fort Wayne and Victory Bay, and I live over here in Lowell, and Dustin lives in Madison, and Caleb lives in Elkhart, and Howie lives in Indy, and I'm always trying to use him if I'm ever getting pulled over. If I'm ever going to Marion County Jail, I'm trying to call Howie with my first call. Um, but I think it's always really cool to get there because I think there's a huge role for everybody. And then obviously, like, even side of that, like Rex, with the Hager Hershey and Zell High School Wrestling Weekly, we worked pretty close with those guys. And like you said, the Coaches Association, where we used to be
yeah,
adversarial, now it's not. Oh yeah,
yes.
babies on there. So I just think it's really cool, and it's always one of my favorite weekends. Not just for the wrestling. The wrestling was good this weekend. It just wasn't like oh my gosh. And I think I said it during the Friday show was when I started watching high school wrestling. I was basically a freshman in high school. I didn't know anything really about wrestling. I came from Illinois. I never wrestled in Illinois. And I only knew the guys from the region. So I remember like the first time the guys from my team lost, I was really surprised. And then we'd go watch semi-state, like, oh man, these guys are the best, or the guys from our regional. And if they didn't win, I'd be shocked. And then you find out there's guys across the whole state, or they'll say, hey, this guy's really good, and then he loses. And it was a lot more edge of your seat. And I think we've done a really good job of getting information out there. And if you're a casual fan, you can go to the site, and it navigates pretty easily. You have a pretty good idea of who's good and who's not, or not good, but you have a pretty good idea of good matches and things like that. And
yeah,
it's been really cool. It's just been really cool. It's one of my favorite.
I think that's pretty cool for people to be able to download our brackets. I think that people want our brackets over the track wrestling brackets. They have the rankings and some other information on there, and then they go through and they do their picks. How many of those do we see at state? It's always cool.
Man, it's so wild, and it's that'll never. I used to love reading the paper, wrestling in the paper, like to do a timeout for wrestling. And like when you see the Indy Star using the rankings, or you see any like paper using the Indiana Mat rankings, you see people walking around like essentially like what your idea is on paper, and they're like using that for their stuff. It's pretty cool. It's just a weird feeling for a guy that like really didn't know anything about wrestling, and that it was just basically became a fan.
Yeah, neither of us were very good at wrestling. I went to semi-state one time, second Garrett history.
I went to semi-state 2 times, and I was definitely not the second. Yeah, I definitely wasn't the second in our school's history. We had a pretty strong tradition.
Yeah. So, and as you were saying, also photographers are been a huge thing.
Yeah.
What helped that has been more like the last 5-ish. It's been more, but 5-ish years has really taken off, and having a great set of people that contribute photos for a fee, but also something that they know that it's going to be promoting them and promoting themselves, promoting the sport and themselves, their businesses. That's always good to have those people that aren't, it's a lot of time. I mean, the photographers were getting pictures out. Adam had them like semifinals photos I saw like at lunch. I'm like, geez, dude, you're grinding hard while I'm sitting here eating lunch,
I think the other part to that too is like, it's huge for the families. When you set up the photographer, Al Smith, I had people like saying like, oh man, like one of those pictures gonna be posted. I see them down there, like, I don't know, like parents are not always down there. Like you only get such good pictures with your cell phone, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, they did phenomenal stuff. It's really good.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I think we're going to plan on Monday will be our awards show. We were talking beforehand, getting some of the awards get out here. So
I've seen some guys get some awards this weekend.
Yep.
Tyler Thran got 2 of them.
Yep, he got 2 of them. So did Coach Joe Netherland. Had those made up. So we will have our Mr. and Miss Gorilla. We will have 4A, 3A, 1A, 2A, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A coach and wrestler of the year. And I don't know, maybe we'll I don't know, this Hall of Fame thing, I think it went to someone's head too much. So we might have to maybe do it like every other year. I don't know. We'll figure something out. We'll have some fun on the show.
Oh, I forgot about the Hall of Fame thing.
Yeah.
Let's just put 2 in.
Yeah.
Joe and Mike going in the Indiana Mat.
We'll induct ourselves.
And the winner is thank you.
That's a very interesting comment. So anyway, we will see you guys next Monday. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you later.
You ain't lying, Jared.